Okay, this is Sam from TikTok. So there's a car for $7,000. I want to sell my car worth 12. Can you explain that? Um, well, who are you selling your car to? It's if you say it's worth 12, then all right. We only get offers to find out what our car is worth. We don't use algorithm sites because that's worthless. An algorithm site is a site like Kelly's Blue Book. You punch in your year, make, model, and in 3 seconds it tells you your vehicle's worth $12,000. Right now, we have companies that bid against each other. And what you want to do is you want to go on your computer, go to CarMax.com, go to Driveway.com, go to Carvana.com, go to AutoNation.com, go to Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer.com, and go to Car Gurus. All of them will connect you to somebody or some major buyer who pays cash for cars immediately. Literally, quick inspection, drop your check, and you're on to you literally, it's that simple. We are no longer at the mercy of private owners who are going to come by and look at our car and no one buy it and talk us down. There are extremely competitive buyers in the market that I've been telling people about since 2021 when we were cashing out. I was big on telling you guys during 2021 to 2023, during that whole pandemic run, cash out now, because the values of those vehicles will never see them again. So there are some people who cashed out, but that was also the beginning of showing people that you can sell to what is called institutional car buyers. And that is what stopped people from trading their cars. There are people who have learned from me, and maybe other people have mentioned this, that will never trade a car again because you're not getting the money that it's worth. So you go to those 6 companies, Sam, it should take you no more than 20 minutes. They're going to give you their best cash offers. And then you can sell to them and you can go buy something else. But what I want you to get in the habit of doing, everybody, is separating your transactions. What does that mean? Who you sell your car to is different than who you buy a car from. And you need to maximize each transaction. And you're never going to do that mixing all your transactions together, which is what most people do. They go into a dealer and they say, hey, I want to buy a car from you, and I want to trade my car into you, and I need a loan. 3 transactions. We don't do that. We separate them and we bid each one out using online tools. And that's how we get the prices we get. And that's how we pay less than everyone else. Okay. So the biggest thing, first thing, is go to those 6 websites: CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, KBB, Instant Cash Offer, AutoNation. And all of you who want to find out what your car is really worth, you go to these 6 websites, get your 6 offers, and then you'll find out what your car is really worth. We do not depend on any dealer to tell us what our car is worth at all. Okay? Shoot the next question up, Dolan. And you guys can continue to type your questions. We're bringing them in from all platforms. This is Terrell Taylor. By the way, everything that I'm talking to you guys about is out of my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. Some of you may have it. If you have it, shout out to those who have it, and shout out to those who've used it to actually pay less than everyone else. And make sure I want you to be like Tiffany. Send me your deals. Send me your deals. When you get your cars, I want you to actually send me the results. Look, this is, oh no, that's not Tiffany. That's someone else who used the book. Look, used the book, got $175 a month less than her first quotes before she used the book. So send me, but you can get a copy of this book immediately for 75% off. It's normally $97. Go to my TikTok bio. You won't leave the broadcast, and you can have the entire blueprint. If you don't want to try to remember everything I'll be teaching you over the next hour, you can have the blueprint. You won't pay the 75. You'll get the 75% off. And we also have a comment pinned in the comment section for you guys on YouTube and on Facebook, and on Instagram. You go to my bio. So anyway, go get it, because it's only for 30 minutes. After the timer goes off, it's $97. It's still worth every penny. You can Google it. 5-star book. You can see all the people who rated it, all the people who's using it. This isn't a test. to do, but I want you to get it at 75% off. It's better to pay $24 than $97. Okay, Terrell Taylor. So you said, Terrell Taylor on YouTube said, I have $35,000 to $40,000 to buy a truck with. Should I buy a used or a late model new, 2022 to 24? So whenever we're considering a late model used car, this is a model like Terrell said that is 1 to 2 years old. Let me tell you why I don't like shopping for those first. I like to shop for a new price first. Whenever you are buying 1 or 2 year old used vehicles, you have to realize something. How do dealers get used cars? Trade, or they get them off lease, they buy them. When you have not waited 3 years, you're not going to see a lot of used vehicles in that option because most people don't buy a vehicle and then trade it in 2 years. So you're not going to see a lot of 1 and 2 year old used vehicles. I don't like that because when there's not a lot of a vehicle, the people who have that vehicle get to set very high prices that we have nothing to compare it to. And that's a recipe for losing and overpaying. I've had people come to me who are looking like you, and what I say is, I say, okay, shop for a new one first. I'm gonna tell you why. When you shop for a new one first, you get to see what the market value is. So take Sean. I'm showing Sean. Some of you have seen Sean. He got an F-150 Lightning XLT, $73,000 vehicle. Using what we teach and getting bids from home, using the Cars from Home system, he saved $21,000 on a new one. That was his best offer. He got multiple offers because we always get at least 5. So his best offer, he saves $21,000. If he had gone to look for a 1 or 2 year old one of this, he would have never known that the new ones he can save $20,000 off of if he shops right. Now, some vehicles, it might be $7,000 off, $10,000 off, $5,000 off. The point is, until you know what the new market is for a vehicle, you can't shop a 1 or 2 year old one. Because what happens if you shop a 1 year old version of what Sean got and he goes and he pays, he pays 65 for it because he thinks, or let's say 60. Let's say 60. A brand new one, 73. Someone else is charging 60. All right, it's 2 years old. Let me get that one. Not 15 grand off. Problem is, he just overpaid for a vehicle because he could have got a new one for less than he got that 1 or 2 year old one. That's why the recent shoppers, anytime you guys are shopping 1 or 2 year old, you have to shop new first to find out what the market is. Now, in my book, I have my strategies for shopping new online and shopping pre-owned. It's totally different. Pre-owned, you want to go to all the marketplaces. If a vehicle's not on a marketplace, y'all, don't shop. Don't look at it. What does that mean? You ever walk into a used car dealer and you see a used car, but there's no price on it? Type a $ if you've ever experienced this. If you've ever looked at a deal, you've been in a dealership, you see they have a used car, there's no price on it. Type a $ if you've experienced that. Okay, I see you, Terrell. Okay, perfect. I see you, Don Dickey. Okay, perfect. All right, we have enough people. All right, Makeover Forever Studios. I see you. Okay, Todd May, I see you. So this is a common thing. When you go and look at that vehicle, the most dangerous thing to do, I see you, Tony, is to negotiate on a car with no price because they can make the price up. When a car is on a marketplace like cars.com, carfax.com, carguru.com, carvana.com, carmax.com, these are all the marketplaces we shop for used cars at once. It's like a big round robin for us. This is how I want you to shop. Now you must be competitive or no one's coming. Now there's some people who try to pull a tactic. They'll list a car for 20. They have no intentions on selling it for 20. But they want you to come in and then they'll charge you more, fees, makeup fees and all of that stuff. That's why we always call beforehand. But we know the power is online. The competition is online. So when you're looking, Terrell, you're either deciding, all right, I'm either going to look for a new vehicle, find out what the market price is for the vehicle I'm looking for and how much I can save. What's my best offer? You need to get at least 5 offers. I'm telling you, it's going to be big differences. You have to prove this to yourself. Call around. If you want to do it manually, you don't have my book, do it manually, call around, speak to sales managers. You are going to see it's going to be a $5,000 to $10,000 difference minimum between all of these dealers' offers, minimum. And so then you want to look at the pre-owned options. Then you look at the pre-owned options. And the pre-owned options will tell you what the market is. And so this is only for you who are looking at recent model cars. If you're not looking at 1 or 2 year old pre-owned, this doesn't matter. But those people have a little bit more budget, and that's okay. That's okay. But when you have a little bit more budget where you can look at a 1 or 2 year old pre-owned car, that means you have a little bit more money to lose if you make a bad decision. So that's what you want to consider, Terrell. Shop for the new ones first, depending on what your budget is, and then look at the pre-owned market and say, all right, where's the pre-owned market? But that 1 or 2 year old, you're not going to have a lot. Until that 3 year cycle comes and dealers can start buying those vehicles back off lease, you're not going to see a lot of vehicles. That's why I don't play in that 1 or 2 year old zone. It's just a dangerous zone to play in. Dealers know, we're the only ones. Hey, we the only one that got this car within 50 miles. Let's charge this for it. And then they depend on someone who doesn't know the market to come in, pay for it, and you can literally overpay by 10, 20 grand and you won't realize it until, a couple years later. Okay, great question though. Great question, Terrell. Go ahead, shoot the next one up, Dolan. Type your questions, y'all. We're going to get through as many as we possibly can in an hour. I see a lot of questions coming in. Let me try to speed it up. All right, this is Abigail from Instagram. How do I shop for cars and take test drives without feeling like I'm wasting their time? I'm nervous. Okay, first thing to realize, Abigail, you're a very considerate person. God bless you for that. You're about to spend 5 figures on a vehicle. Some of you 6 figures. I love the courtesy, but we are the prize. When you're shopping the way I want you to shop, some of you, this is your first time here. You don't even know, hey, who is this guy talking? I spent 14 years in the car business. 5 years with Mercedes, 5 years General Motors. I've been helping people buy cars and get below market deals since 2019, education-wise. I love it, but you deserve the experience. If you were walking into the mall to spend 15 grand, let's just call it 15 grand. How would you want to be treated? Like royalty, right? Right? So, but I'm going to answer your question, but I need your mindset. A lot of what we're discussing is going to be the right mindset. You are the prize. That's why I don't want you going to dealers begging for discounts anymore. I want you sitting at home making dealers bid. This is how we do test drives on new cars and leases. New cars and leases. This is how we do test drives. I have it in my book because it's that serious. You're either going to have a great test drive or you're going to have a horrible test drive experience. We call and we ask the dealer, who's the most experienced person there? Who does everybody like? Who's the person that, has been there for a long time, just has a great reputation? Oh, that's John. John is just, he's been here 20 years. Everybody loves him. Okay, can I speak to John? Hey, John, my name's Deshone. I'm interested in the Honda Pilot. I just like to test drive it. I'm in the process of deciding what I want. And, do you have this particular model? You have one there that I could test drive? John, because we asked for the best person, we're typically going to get somebody who is not going to lie, usually. Not a guarantee, but taking these steps, I know these guys. I've been in this dealership. I know most dealerships have one person there who has a good reputation and who cares about that reputation. If you're enjoying this content, hit the like button, y'all. And Keith, y'all killing the likes on TikTok. Shout out to everybody who's hitting the likes on TikTok, to double tapping the screen. Appreciate y'all. And shout out to everybody who hits the like button. When we get there, we meet with John. We test drive. John, thank you so much. Can I have your card? I'll leave you my information. And if this is the vehicle I want, I'll be in touch with you. Perfect. Oh, Deshone, we don't sit down? We don't think, no, we never sit down. I'm telling you that there are things you must unlearn about the shopping process if you're going to win. And what does winning look like? Getting the most money off in the least amount of time. There's no leverage that you have when you sit down and try to negotiate with a car salesman. Every single dealer around you that wants to compete for your business, you can't talk to them while you're sitting in one dealer talking to a car salesman. That's why we don't do it. We get a card. Thank you so much. Listen, if this is the one for me, I'm going to give you a call. Simple. Pressure's off. There's no pressure in our system. You can't pressure us. That's what I want you doing. New cars, leases, that's how you test drive. 20 minutes, you're in and out. And I'm a car salesman at heart because that's what I am by profession. I would never develop a system that would allow you to waste car salesmen's time. I just wouldn't do it. I developed a system that when our people go get cars, look at Ansley. When our people go get cars, Ansley just got his lease, 1% lease, $58,000 Infiniti. Look, started the process Saturday, accept the deal Monday, all by email. $58,000 car, he's paying $554 a month, no down payment. We have tons of these. None of these people spent, look at Jared, lease like a boss, $569 a month down to $520, Volkswagen Tiguan, no money out of pocket. Let's go to a purchase. Pierre, pre-owned car purchase, got his 2022 Mazda, got a 20% discount off the original MSRP. This is 30 minutes. We are not spending more than 30 minutes in dealerships. Who doesn't want to spend more time in dealerships? Type me if you're like Deshone. I don't want to be in dealerships that long. You thought you had to be in dealers to save the big money, right? You thought you had to be in dealers to save the big money. I'm showing you as someone who pays less than everyone and who teaches people to pay less than everyone. Look, Kimberly, $20,000 off a Maserati, shopping from home. Because when you can talk to more people at once, the discounts fly off. And you see that all these dealers want to compete. So what you want to do, the best thing you can do to not waste people's time, Abigail, is to shop from home the right way. Because when you shop from home the right way, you realize it's only a few things you need to be in the dealership for. That's your test drive. I just told you how to set it up. With used cars, we do it at the end. But we're only there for a second. In fact, when you go to pick up your car, they're going to tell you, thank you. This was one of the most easiest deals I ever made in my life. Because you came in, you emailed us, you knew what you wanted, you gave us the information we needed, we made you an offer, you knew what you were decisive. We have all these scripts. By the way, in my book, I have all the email scripts. You don't have to even think about what you're going to say. It's literally copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste when we're shopping for new cars and leases. With used cars, before I go to the next question, I want to hit on the used car process. Used cars, we must test drive at the end. We can't test drive used cars over here and then go and buy another used car over here. So what we do when we narrow our choices down on all these marketplaces to our top 5 favorite vehicles, we need to verify that there's no bogus fees. When I was shopping for my Infiniti truck, I narrowed it down to 4 vehicles. But I'm going to tell you something that's the most, who's bought a used car in their life? Type the letter U. I need you guys to program what I'm about to say into your brain cells for the rest of your life. Type the letter U if you bought a used car or if you plan on buying a used car one day. Type the letter U. All right, I see you, Michael. Don Dickey, okay. Terrell, I see you. Glizzy, Tony, okay. Lori, I see you. Victoria. Anybody who plans on this, let me tell you how. Okay, let me tell you how. All right. See, when I'm about to reveal big stuff, I got to kind of see how I want to say it. The marketplaces that we go to look at used cars on, They're never going to tell us what a great price is. And I'm going to tell you why. The only thing that matters, let's say we're looking at 4 white Honda Accords. 4, they're all white. These are the cars we want. We've narrowed it down. We're looking at 4. They all got similar miles, and they're asking price is $20,000. The marketplace is going to tell you what they think a good deal is based on algorithms. Based on all the vehicles listed on the market, this is a good deal. This is a bad deal. Here's what matters. How much was the original price of each vehicle? Why is this the only important thing? Because if we're looking at 4 white Honda Accords, but one of them was $35,000 when it was new, one of them was $39,000 when it was new, has a sport package, some special technology. One was $31,000 when it was new. One was $29,000 when it was new. What's the best value? What's the best value? You see how we clearly just went from, wow, all of these vehicles look the same, similar price, similar asking price. But once we found out, wait a minute, this one right here was $38,000 new. This one here has the cameras in it all around and the self-driving package, and it has the same asking price, or it's maybe $1,000 more. This is what I call the true value discount. The true value discount. And let me tell you why the marketplaces will never tell you this. Because if they advertise the true value discount, someone has to be at the bottom. In other words, when you're looking at Honda Accords, if you could go right to the true value, who's giving me the biggest discount off the original MSRP? That means the car at the bottom, they might be giving you no discount off the MSRP. We saw that during the pandemic. It was people selling, who remembers people selling Toyota Camrys, 3-year-old Toyota Camrys, for the same price as they were when they were new? There was some deal, everyone wasn't. I know a couple dealers, I know a couple general managers who run dealerships who are ethical. And they said, look, I don't care what the market does. I can't sell a used vehicle for the same price it was when it was new. I'm not doing that. Because when that customer comes back in 3 years to deal with me, I'm going to have to help them again. And if I bury them in their car, then I'm not going to be able to help them. But there were plenty of people who was. The true value discount is all that matters, which means we have to know what the car was new. We have to find the Maroni label. We have to go on the Carfax. We have to go to where the window sticker is and get the original price. And then we'll clearly see, oh, that's the best used car. And no one else shops like that. No one else shops like that. If y'all get that, type dollar signs. If you get that, what I just said, type dollar signs. That is what is important, not what they tell you is a good deal. So going back to me, when I got my Infiniti truck, 4 vehicles, all in a similar price range, all white. They were between $1,800 difference from each other, similar miles. But once I found out that one was 46,000 new, one was 48,000 new, one was 52,000, and the one I ended up getting was 54,000. That separated it. The one that was 54,000 new, they were giving me a 42% discount asking price. These are things that help you cut through the mess, the smoke and mirrors of the car business. In order for you to win and pay less than everyone else, you have to cut through the smoke and mirrors. That's what I'm great at showing you because I was in the business. So these are the things that, again, if you say, Deshone, I need the whole blueprint. I need to give me the step-by-step. I'm leasing, used cars, high mileage, new cars. Give it to me step-by-step. That is my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It'll be in your inbox in literally 5 minutes, and you get yours for 75% off. Support yourself and support your family by getting your copy. Go to my YouTube comments. We have a link right there pinned for you guys. We have a link in the Facebook comments. Get your book for 75% off for the next 30 minutes. You'll see a timer on the page. Now, if you're on TikTok, click that picture of me and go to that link in my TikTok bio and click the one that says 75% off to activate the 75% off link. Get your book so that you never have to wonder about this. Now, we're going to continue, but I just know as we answer more questions, some of you are going to forget that. What we just went over in the last 10 minutes, this next question, you're going to forget all of that. All right? Now, Dennis Gamister from Instagram, on a lease agreement, does the deal use the MSRP or the discounted price? So when we're shopping for leases, this is what we do. We get all our offers this is how we construct our offers. If you've ever looked on these commercials and you saw, well, Deshone, when I look at leases, though, it seems like, one, they limit me on miles. And then I also see that they want a bunch of money up front. You are correct. But they only limit you on miles according to the miles you told them you were going to drive. They don't pick the miles for you. We select the miles. And what ends up happening is people will, because they typically don't know how to shop, they're negotiating. They'll say, all right, well, my payment's $400. That's my budget. I drive more than 10,000 miles a year, but I guess I'll just take the 10. Instead of paying $20 more to get 12, they'll take the 10, and then they'll say something like, if I go over, I'll just buy it. Horrible idea. Absolutely catastrophic idea. Or if I go over, they blame the lease. They literally will get the penalty, get the bill for the 6,000 extra miles that they used, and they're charging them 25 cents a mile now, and say, man, this is why I don't want to lease, because they limit me on my miles. No, they didn't. To save $20 a month, you pick the lower miles. You can customize leases up to 15,000 miles if you want, 18,000 miles. Look at Jen. Jen just got her lease on her Honda. Hold on, where's Jen's lease? She got an 18,000 mile a year lease. Now, the way we shop is 12,000 miles per year, only first month's payment due at signing, and we shop it taxes and fees in the payment. Jen, her best offer on her Honda CR-V hybrid, which is one of the most popular hybrid crossovers in the market, she got $512 a month, 12,000 miles. That's a 1.3 lease. We'll talk about the 1% rule for great lease deals and the 1.5% for overpaying. She gets 1.3. She bumps it up to 18,000 miles per year. But look how much more, y'all. $50. So for $50 more a month, she, instead of driving 12,000 miles, she gets to drive 18,000 miles. And she gets to drive as much as she needs to for $50. Versus her saying, you know, I'm going to take the 12 knowing I don't drive 12, and then I'm going to get penalties and, again, blame the lease. The lease is custom. And the first time I learned about high mileage leases was when I was working at Hyundai. I was a manager at Hyundai for a short period of time. It was a highway dealer. The guy ended up going to jail. It was typical, like, you know, I've worked in some dealers, some phenomenal dealers, but this one was like, if you ever could imagine the prototypical highway scam dealership, I mean, this was it. So I was only there for 6 weeks, but I was a manager, and what I saw was I was taking care of this guy's lease who was just finished with it. He had 72,000 miles on it, and I went out there and I said, wait, you leased this? 72,000 miles? He said, yeah, I always lease now. He said, I used to come in every time I bought a car, my negative equity was ridiculous, $15,000, $10,000. I had to keep writing these big checks. And I just said, you know, let me switch to leasing. A customer taught me about high mileage leasing. That's why when I say car salesmen aren't trained, they're not trained. We learn things by intuitiveness and curiosity, and you know, we're not trained on finance and insurance and leases versus buying, none of that. You know, so anyway, I said, wow. And so I looked at his payment. This guy is only paying like $175 more a month, not even, to drive 25,000 miles a year. So if a normal Hyundai lease was $299, he's paying $450, $475, and he's driving 25,000 miles a year. Boom, drops it off, Boom. No negative equity, none of the trash that most high mileage drivers are dealing with. So when we are shopping for a lease, we have to shop with our template. Whenever you're getting your lease quotes, it's 12,000 miles a year, first month's payment only due at signing, taxes and fees in the payment. Assume tier 1. That's what we blast out. In my book, I have something called the 25 to 5 strategy. We connect with 25 dealers online. You use my email scripts, copy and paste. We're going to get 5 offers. This will take you. You saw Ansley. He said, I started it Saturday. By Monday, I accepted a deal. This doesn't matter. This is a 24, 48-hour turnaround to start getting offers on these vehicles. Now, once we're looking at offers, we take the MSRP. We take the monthly payment. We divide it into the MSRP. So let's just say we're shopping for a vehicle. It's $40,000. One of our offers is $400 a month. $400 a month. No money due at signing, just $400. We drive off. We divide that into the MSRP, not the selling price, the MSRP. So now we divide that into 40,000. We can see and we multiply by 100. That's a 1% lease. The 1% lease rule has been around for the last 20, 30 years. If you could lease a vehicle and the offers is under 1% of the MSRP, it's a steal. Great value. Because a $40,000 vehicle with no money down to buy would cost probably $800 a month on a 5-year loan. So it's incredible value. It's a steal. You don't have to worry, am I overpaying? Nowhere near. You're still in the vehicle. And we have some people who shop from home using the car. If you're Deshone, do those deals really exist? If you're on YouTube or Facebook, you can see right now. Look, Greg got a 1% lease on his Kia EV6 Win, $527 a month, $56,000 vehicle. Look, Zafrina, $579 a month, $65,000 vehicle. Ansley, you saw Ansley's Infinity. Rosalie's Infinity truck. Right here. Look, it's paying $592 a month, $59,000 vehicle. 1% lease deals are out here when you know how to shop. Now, that's a steal. That doesn't mean that's the best. That doesn't mean, if I can't get a 1% deal. In order to get a 1% deal, you have to not just shop. You need major support from the manufacturer. The lease program has to be good. The rebates have to be good. The residual value have to be good. The money factor, which is the interest rate, have to be good. There's a lease program that no dealer can control. So when we get these offers, that's how we're judging them. Divide the monthly payment into the MSRP. In my book, I have a calculator that I created where we put all our offers into it, and then it spits out what we call counter offers. So we get 5 offers, 7 offers. We put them all into this calculator I created. Again, this is the best $24. If you get there for $24 before that 30-minute timer and you get your copy, it'll be the best $24 you ever spent. I hold myself accountable to that. You can Google the book and read the reviews. There's software that we created that that's how you're judging your leases. You're looking and you're comparing to the 1% rule. Now, when you get to 1.5%, we can't make those deals. We're paying too much for a vehicle that we're giving back. We have to see, there was no indicator before I created the 1.5% rule. As much as I love educating people on leases, the only people who should be leasing is if you're not keeping your cars 8 years. All of you long-term people who you keep your cars more than 8 years, don't think about leasing at all. You should be shopping for below market purchases. But if you're not keeping your cars 8 years, you're losing thousands of dollars not leasing cars. Depreciation is where you lose. Resale value is where you lose. So the 1% rule is what our anchor is, but 1.2 is great value. 1.3, great value. 1.4, good value. 1.5, good value. Anything over 1.5, now we're paying too much for a vehicle that we're giving back. So that's how we're judging. That's how we're judging and comparing our lease offers. And with the calculators that are in my book, you can literally do this in seconds. This stuff, these mathematical things that used to be complex, even hard for me to explain, when you're using the stuff in my book and you're seeing, wait, There's calculators I can do this. Boom, boom. Why don't these calculators exist on Google? Because anything that makes dealers compete, they're not going to make for you. They'll make stuff for you that allows you to see more and do this and make it easier and faster and connect to get a loan quick. But competition, any tools that create competition, they're not going to make those for you, because that's where the real money comes off when you make dealers compete. Okay, so you want your copy of Cars from Home, 7 Steps of Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. Click the picture of me on Instagram or TikTok. It's going to take you to my bio. You won't leave the broadcast. Click that link and then click the button that activates the 75% off, and you'll have 30 minutes. Once the timer goes to 0, the $97 price is what you have to pay if you want it. It's up to you, but $24 is much better than $97. $97 is still a great price. I have no doubt that you guys would write me, especially the more you use this. 1, 2 cars, 3 cars. You get 1 lease this year, a used car next year, a new car in about 4 years. And Deshone, what about when websites change? What about, this is an online system. Websites go out of business. Vroom went out of business. They were in my book. We used to get bids from them to sell cars to them. When we were shopping for used cars, they were in my multiple marketplace strategy. They went out of business. I went right into the master file, updated the 9,000 people that had a book. It was probably like 2,000, 3,000 at that particular time. And the next time people opened the book file, there was no room. That's why the book is digital. That's one of the reasons. You'll see the other reasons is I have scripts that I link you to. I have PDFs I link you to. Videos I link you to. I couldn't do this with a real physical book. So again, in the YouTube comments, in the Facebook comments, we have a link for you guys to get your book at 75% off for 30 minutes and use it. All right, Dolan, shoot the next one then, brother. Let's go. How old of a used car should a person buy? That's based on budget. I like to start with, when we open those marketplaces, Tony, you want to start with the most recent cars. The first thing you're doing when you open up the marketplaces, y'all, first of all, we're creating accounts. Out of all those marketplaces I named, 6 or 7 of them, we use 8. We use eBay Motors, we use Carfax.com, we use Cars.com, Autotrader.com, CarGurus.com, Carvana, CarMax, Driveway, and that's 8. 7 of those, or 6, allow us to create an account. Why is it important to create an account? So that every single new car that matches our criteria, as soon as it's listed, we get a notification. The people who have that notification on, most of them don't know how to assess the market like I'm showing you. So even if they get a notification that the car was just posted, they're not going to have the information to take advantage of it. They're going to hesitate. What we do is, the first thing we do after we create our account is we're now assessing the market. Where's the low prices? Where's the high prices? And I'll usually go 3 years back, sometimes 4 years back, and let's assess the market. Now, I have another calculator in the, matter of fact, let me show this to you guys. I have another calculator. It's called the Perfect Budget Calculator. The Perfect Budget Calculator. What this does, you guys can't see this on YouTube, but you can see it on you can't see this on TikTok. But if you go over to YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, you'll be able to see what I'm sharing right now. Now, what often happens is, let me share this. Hang on. Boom. Okay. So now what often happens is, a lot of you will say, I could put down $2,000, but, if I don't have to, then I won't. Or, if you get a car and you pay $15,000, if you pay $500 a month for 5 years, that's a lower price you paid than paying $500 a month for 6 years. So ways to manipulate our budget is to shop within our budget for a shorter loan. This is all stuff where I said, okay, people don't know they need to be doing this. So let's make a tool that does it for them. And this is, you get access to this when you get your copy of Cars from Home, my book. So let's say we do something called an equity assessment. Everybody who has a car, remember I was mentioning a little while ago, we go to these websites, Driveway, Room, or all these, and we find out what our car is worth. Let's say you're like, man, okay, if I sell my car to CarMax, I'm actually going to have $3,200 of equity. All right, so when I sell, I'm going to put that into my budget. All right, now max, my down payment, max I could comfortably do is $1,500. That's max. Now, we use the average interest rate, and in my book, I give you a link to see what the average interest rate is at the particular time you're going to be shopping. Let's just say it's 6.9. Now, we enter a comfortable monthly payment. Let's say you're like, all right, I don't want to go any more than $425 a month for 6 years. That's my max. You enter your state so we can pull the taxes and we can pull the fees. New Jersey, calculate budget goals. Now it's going to ask you a comfortable monthly payment on a 5-year loan. You might say, all right, same thing. I still don't want to go over 425 no matter what. Perfect. What this does is create multiple goals. And it creates multiple goals. It creates a starting point. Now, if you find a car at this price, $18,776 or less, you can do a 5-year loan, use none of your equity, so this will go in your bank, and use none of your down payment. Now, next goal may be, okay, $22,000 or less. 6-year loan, no equity, no down payment. So the first two goals are no money down goals. If I find a car anywhere in these price ranges, I can do these deals, no money down. Now, this is one where I use my equity, but no down payment. Goal number 4, I use my equity for a 6-year loan, no down payment. Now, goal number 5. Now you can see the price of the car is getting higher. Use equity, use my use equity and down payment, but it's 5-year loan. And then here is your max budget. Your max budget, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with if you find a vehicle that, once you use this and you find the best price vehicle, as long as you are under this number, you are fine. The problem is when you go over that number. The problem is when you go over budget. All of these goals are your budget. So when I got my Infinity truck, I got my goal out. It was my fourth goal. Now, this is how you make sure when you go out to shop, and look at the top. What does it say? You select your state determines the sales tax, will factor it in, give you precise figures. Now, you'll notice, what about the fees, Deshone? Don't all these cars charge fees? We've already factored in the taxes, and we've added $1,000 for fees. What is $1,000? The documentation fee and the motor vehicle fees. It's all in there. So you can go out and know that's my max budget. I cannot buy a vehicle, make a deal on a vehicle where my purchase price is more than $26,729. That's the perfect budget calculator. So there are certain things that I had to create. No one does them. Everything that I was referring you guys to, all the websites, I was doing this, and there was some things where I couldn't refer you to anything because it doesn't exist. We had to build it. So this is how we make sure we are shopping, whether it be for new cars, used cars, below our budget. And that's not how you make, but here's the thing. I need you, before we go to the next question, I need you to understand something. That doesn't make sure you pay below market price. You have to combine this with getting bids, because you can be within your budget and pay over market value. There's 3 types of prices you can pay for a car, whether it's a new car, used car, or lease. Did you pay market value? That's what everyone's paying. Average. Did you pay over market value? Our only deals we make are below market value. And the way that happens is through bidding and creating a marketplace around you where all these people are competing for your business. That is how you combine that with the budget. This will keep you below your budget, but it does not guarantee. If I gave this to you, all of you would be like, this is great. I'm never going to go over my budget again. But it does not, until you combine that with getting bids for whatever you're looking for, you still run the risk of overpaying, even if you're under budget. Okay? Clear? Type $signs if you're all clear before we move to the next question. And there's no way for us to do this manually. If there was a way that you could do this manually, trust me, I would have told y'all to saw me make a video about it all day on my social media. There was just no way. We had to build software. And you know, in my book, you guys will have access to at least 5 calculators for counter offers for new cars, true value discounts when you put the new price you put the original new price of the used car deal, whatever used car you're buying, you put the new car price in, and then you put in the asking price, and it tells you the true value discount, perfect budget calculator. We have at least 5 softwares that I've custom built, and you know, to make sure you guys get great value. So again, you know, I didn't want to be the person who said, you know, you guys know, there's plenty of people who be like, man, the value I'm giving you guys, I'm gonna charge $2.99 for the book, whatever. The people who pay, they'll save the money. And the people who pay, there'll be some people, because some people are gonna pay, they just see value. Poor people look at cost. Wealthy people look at value. People who are into financial literacy they don't ask themselves, how much does that cost? They ask themselves, what's the value I'm getting from that? And I could have said, well, you know what? I'm going to help you pay less than everyone on new cars, used cars, leases. We'll do $200, $300 for the book. And I only want to sell it to 1% or 5% of the pie. But at the end of the day, my mission is to help as many people want to be helped. And so that's why I said, okay, $97. But even our welcome offer, you got a chance to get it for $24 if you get there before the 30 minutes is up. Okay? YouTube link, get your copy. And make sure you save the support email, guys. You see it scrolling across the screen. If, for instance, you don't get your book in 5-10 minutes, it's usually because you typed your email wrong. Reach out to my support team. They'll get you the book immediately. And soon as you pay, go to TikTok. Look, y'all see the links. Go to my bio on YouTube and Instagram. Get your copy. And as soon as you pay your $24, there's going to be a page that says screenshot this page. Right on that page, you can access your book. I want you to have the book immediately, but I also, in case you know, some of you type wrong, big thing, you know, we fat finger stuff. I want you to have the support email so that you can reach out to my team so we can make sure that book is in your inbox so you can use it and start saving money and building confidence. Okay, Dolan, next question, man. Let's keep it rolling. Okay, there's something about Mary on Instagram. I bought a car as is, and in less than a month, motor lock, can I sue for selling me a lemon? I'm not a lemon law attorney, but that is not what a lemon law case is based off of, in my understanding. Lemon law case is based on you buying a vehicle and the same thing continuing to go wrong at least 3 times. You know, that's a general overview of, you know, what the lemon law process is. And if y'all are enjoying the broadcast on TikTok, can y'all just double tap the screen and keep running those likes up? Every time y'all do that, y'all help TikTok bring more people here, and I appreciate it. If you're going to spend some time with us and, you know, every time just you hear something you like and you're like, man, we got to share this. Oh, and shout out to Madhu for sharing. Here's the thing. I made a video about this the other day because a friend of mine got a used vehicle and the transmission went out on him in about a month. So it wasn't the engine. But when you buy a vehicle as is, it's very tough for you to have any recourse, anything that you can do, because you're signing a contract that specifically says as is. It's very tough. What I would do if I was you, because the damage is done. I just find out what it would cost me to put a used engine in the vehicle, rebuilt in a used engine. You know, salvage yard. You need to, and especially if you're buying cars that you're paying cash and you're buying as is cars. These are probably cars that are under 10 grand, 12 grand. You need a mechanic. See, because that's a strategy. There is a great strategy called buying inexpensive cars and having a local mechanic so you could do what's right. Oftentimes you could drive those cars for a year or two and sometimes sell them for what you got for them because you've outlived the depreciation. Those cars are not depreciating as much unless you overpay for them. If you overpay for it, then it's going to drop because you overpaid for it. But if you pay a great price on some of these vehicles, you can oftentimes win with this, but it requires skills. One of the skills is, how do I avoid engine issues, transmission issues? So a couple things for those of you who may be going this route, you need to narrow your search down thoroughly based on title history, service records, accident history. That oftentimes you'll see, if I typed in right now 2018 Subaru Outback longevity. That's one of the things we do. It's in the 4th step of my book. Before we get prices on anything, we do a quick 5-minute search to make sure these aren't bad cars. There are bad cars out there, but there's data that shows us. If I type that in, it'll tell, okay, these vehicles are known for lasting 100,000 to 300,000 miles, depending on how they're maintained. That means you could have a quality vehicle, but if it wasn't maintained correctly by the first owner or owners, it's going to break down. The life cycle is cut short. These are preventable mistakes by simply checking Google. Now, we narrow these things down based on title history, service records, accident history. Once we do that, I don't mind buying a 10-year-old. I bought a car that was it's my around the city car. I drive it probably 200 miles a month. I bought it from a owner in South Orange. He was a 98-year-old man. He's had it for 10 years and he knew everything about it. He leased it for 3 years, then he bought it. So he's really had the car for its entire life cycle. That's what you want because you're able to look and see the service records. I don't mind. We have to take the risk off of ourselves, and the risk off of ourselves with used cars to prevent ourselves from buying these used cars that are breaking down on people and they're always in the shop and, they're dying on the road and you got to keep the tow truck on speed dial. It's simply a matter of checking to see the reliability records of the car, which is easily accessible on Google, the way I just said, and then making sure the one we get was actually maintained correctly. And that's going to give us the best chance of having a great experience. These are the steps we must take. But in your particular case, there's probably, I don't think you have a case. You can certainly reach out to a lemon law attorney. I don't think you have a case at all. I think because it's buyer beware with cars. It's buyer beware. That means it's on you. If something goes wrong, it's on you. And so what I would do is I would find a local mechanic that I trust, that everyone loves in the neighborhood, and I've been there for 10 years, 20 years. And I would say, listen, can you find out what it would cost me to put another engine in this vehicle? My father did this on his GMC Envoy about 6 years ago. It was a 2008 Envoy. The engine went out on him. He put a new engine in the vehicle. One of the best $2,000 he ever spent, $2,000 or $2,500, whatever it cost him. They put a new engine in that vehicle. He still has it. He's about to sell it for about $4,000. He's had that vehicle from 2013. Think about that. A lot of people, engine goes out, they sell the car. It's worthless now, so they take the loss. Meanwhile, man, let me come up with $2,500 and I still got no car payment for the next 6 years. We don't need to be so quick to go replace our cars. If we follow these strategies, we can actually, I love to see more people doing that. Just go fix the car. But don't go to the dealership to fix it when they tell you, hey, the engine's gonna cost $10,000. And what does the dealership say, y'all? When you have these major issues and the dealership tells you the transmission is $7,000 and a new engine is $10,000, what's their suggestion? What's their suggestion when they tell you that? Because they already know you're gonna be like, yo, what the heck? I can't pay all of that. What's their suggestion? Let's see, let me give y'all some time to type. I just want y'all to know, like, this is how the system works. So I know somebody, look, thank you, Jay June. Trade it in. Thank you. You see how we can, oh, look, NY Anderson, buy a new one. So what they do is, exactly, Victoria, they're going to suggest a new vehicle. So if we know, now watch this, as your vehicle is worthless, you don't have any opportunity to put it on a competitive market to see, well, how much would somebody pay for that? They've already assessed the value and they want to structure your deal, have you take that major loss for that engine. They're going to put the engine in for a lot less than that and they're going to resell it, and now they sold you another car. When you could have just literally went to a mechanic, got a rebuilt or got a used engine, put in that vehicle, cost you $2,500, maybe $2,000, and literally you're on the road for another couple years with no car payment, keeping money in your household versus now I'm in another $400 a month payment. Okay? This is what it's about. And if you're like Deshone, well, I don't want to keep a car that long. We talked about you earlier. You shouldn't be buying cars. Because the keepers on here who keep cars 8 years, 10 years, who has a car they've had in their driveway for more than 8 years? Type the number of years. I want to explain something we're going to help a couple people learn a lesson here about themselves, because they're going to be like, they're going to realize they're not keepers. Look, look, we need to show people, because some people think, oh, I keep my cars a long time. I keep them about 6-7 years. We need to show that that's not a long time in the world of cars and depreciation. So Michael, 15 years. Michael got a car that he's had for 15 years. Let's go. Type the number of years you've had it if it's more than 8. Look, Vancia, 11 years. Let's see. See, a lot of people don't keep their cars. Look, NY Anderson said, I drove my last car 14 years. All right, Connie, 15 years. She has a 2004 Chevrolet. Tony on Facebook, 2006. Now, watch this, y'all. If you ask me, Deshone, what's the way to get the most money out of a vehicle? It's to do what they're doing. Tanaya, 9 years. No, Renata, not less than 8. Not less than 8. We're trying to put you into a different cat. We're trying to help you see the category you should be in. Look, 9 years. Donna, 15 years. What's so important for y'all to see about these people is that they have beat depreciation, and that means whatever their vehicles are worth today, a year from now, they're going to be worth about the same. If their vehicles are worth $4,000 today, a year from now, they'll be able to still sell it for about $4,000. But the thing is, they're trying to get the most money out of it because the cost of replacement is expensive compared to what they're doing. No matter how much they got to pay to keep those vehicles on the road every year, a little couple $100, maintenance, whatever, it's nothing compared to going and getting a new car and bringing hundreds of dollars a month or thousands of dollars in the form of cash out of our household. And everyone's not going to do that. And that's okay. You should not be buying cars. You should be shopping for below market leases. Because again, there's 2 ways to save money. Do what the keepers do. You just saw all the keepers. We shouted out all of them. And the other way is to go in and not tie money up in the vehicles in the first place. When you look at somebody like Danielle, she's driving a $44,000 Audi, 2024 Audi A3. That vehicle is $800 a month to buy, no money down. $800 a month for 5 years, maybe $700 a month for 6 years. She's paying $550 a month. She didn't tie up the money in the first place. That's the name of the game with leasing. Bonita on her Telluride. This is also to show you it doesn't matter what the market does. The market could be up or down. We're going to pay less than everyone. This is Bonita. She got a Kia Telluride during the pandemic when everybody was paying ridiculous prices. That's why I show her 2022. Look at the date. She said, I'm driving my dream vehicle, $600 a month. People were leasing. And I know if somebody watching this and they're like, if you leased a Kia Telluride during the pandemic, you are not paying what she's paying with no money down. I know it. I know it. People were DMing me, Deshone, I want a Telluride. They want $900 a month for them. I know people weren't paying $600 a month, but she came in, used our bidding system, used the same strategies you're going to have access to in my digital book. She got $600 a month from home without being in a dealership. Her dream vehicle. This is how you win. You're either going to not tie up your money in vehicles, you're going to drive new vehicles that don't have problems because they're always under warranty and you're paying cents on the dollar compared to people purchasing, or you're going to be a keeper like Michael and like Donna and like the people who said, okay, I'm keeping my vehicle this long. That's why in my book, it's 7 steps. But the first step is to ask yourself how many years you're keeping your next vehicle. That is the first question I would ask you if you and I were shopping together. My first question to you would be, Michael, how many years you want to keep the next vehicle? 8 or more or less than that? If you said to me, Deshone, I'm going to keep it at least 8. All right, let's go for the purchase. New or used, depending on budget, but we're purchasing. We need to find a below market purchase. If you said, Deshone, I'm 6 years max. I can't see myself keeping a car more than 6 years. All right, we're going to shop for a below market lease. Because the money you're going to spend in a below market lease, when you get these below market lease deals, not commercial leases, not what you see on advertisements. Those are ridiculous prices. We don't pay those prices. None of these people that you see, Greg, Charles on his Palisade, none of these are advertisements. They're thousands less. But when you're putting money in the cars and you're driving brand new cars, this is how it was for me when I was 22. This started for me at 22. I was working for Pontiac and I leased a brand new Pontiac G6. It was $256 a month. $256 a month. It was like a $21,000 vehicle. Same time, I had a friend of mine. She got a I don't want to say it because she might be watching this, and this is no shot at her. I didn't understand enough to teach her back then because I was new in the business. She went and she bought, let's call it a Honda Civic. Now my car was bigger because the G6 was a mid-size vehicle. The Honda Civic is a compact vehicle, but she bought it. $20,000 vehicle, 22, whatever it was at the time, paying almost $500 a month. Like that's a $500 payment. That's what it is. So my young household, I got a newborn daughter. I got a new car I'm paying $256 a month for. Same time, it's got families around me. They're in their 20s, but they're paying $500 a month. This is what showed me, wait, something's going on. And I never stopped. I bought a used car at that time, but since I've had 4 Infiniti leases, I've had a Jeep Grand Cherokee lease, and people always think, you must be paying ridiculous money. I see you get new cars every 3 years, but they don't. I'm driving $40,000 cars, $45,000 vehicles. I never paid over $400 a month. Not one of my lease payments was ever. I remember I got this Jeep Grand Cherokee, and it was a $35,000 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo, 2018. When I got my offers, the best offer was $330 a month. 12,000 miles per year. And that's what I was driving. If I was driving 15, I would have bumped it up to 15,000 miles per year. I got $330 a month. I went in there and I gave them $330 for that Jeep Grand Cherokee and I drove off. $35,000 vehicle. This is what I'm telling you guys. This is what is called deal structure. If your deal is not on the right foundation, if you buy, but you should have leased, you're overpaying by thousands and thousands of dollars. And you're going to have subpar vehicles with that run out of warranty, and you're going to have the same payment. You're going to have higher payments. I need you out of these two categories. I need you in one of these two categories. I'm either going to keep my vehicle long enough to beat depreciation, 8 years or more, or I'm shopping for a below market lease. I'm not going to be stuck in the middle no more, buying vehicles and then selling them while they still have a loan on them, negative equity and all of this stuff. This is paramount. Okay, the buying versus leasing thing. I need most of you to put this to bed today. And I think I'm one of the only people that goes into buying versus leasing by the numbers. It's not opinion based. It's not, oh, I think you should lease if you're, depending on the car here, it doesn't matter the car. Doesn't matter the car. You can see Teddy's, let's show Teddy's luxury. Teddy got a BMW. Doesn't matter. He wasn't going to keep it 10 years. Look, goes on a BMW 2024 i4 M50. It's a $73,000 vehicle, $856 a month. $856 a month. Look, he said the dealer's initial offer came in at $937 using the counter offer calculator. Using the counter offer calculator, he counted at $829, $856. If you just jumped on the broadcast, I showed you some of the calculators that I created that are in this book. In my book, there's a reason it's 5-star rated. There's a reason people that you can go read what your peers say about that book. Get your copy for 75% off. It's in my TikTok bio. Click that picture of me. Click the link. Same thing on Instagram. Go to my bio. Click the link, and you'll see a button that activates the 75% off book. And if you're on YouTube or Facebook, it's in the comments section. 30 minutes only. Get your book so you can have access to all of this. Unless you just have an incredible memory and you can remember everything we talked about over the stream, but none of you can. I know none of you can. That's why, I couldn't even do it. It's just too much. We're talking about used car strategies, new car strategies, lease strategies. You guys, you're not gonna remember all of that. But anyway, let's go. All right, I think we got time for a few more. Go ahead, Dolan, keep it rolling. Make sure you guys screenshot the support page. As soon as you pay for your book, the book is on the thank you page. Remember that. I don't want you, I send you the book 2 ways. As soon as you pay, it says access your link below, open it. You can click it and save it right to your phone or computer right then and there. If you do not save it right then and there, make sure you screenshot the support page or use the support email that's scrolling through the screen. This is not for questions. Do not send me general car questions here. I don't answer questions by email. That is strictly for those of you who have your book and you're like, or you paid for the book and you're like, okay, where is it? It's usually because the email was wrong. That's okay. Hit that support email so that my team could send you the link out so that you can have your book today and start digging into it and using it. Even if you're not shopping right now, you can still map a plan out. Go ahead, Dolan, shoot the next question up. All right, this is Victoria from TikTok. Any tips for how I can get the highest trade-in value for my existing vehicle? Of course, bids. Bids. First of all, you just said a curse word. You may not know, but we don't use that T word here because you're never going to get anything. You're not going to get a max value for anything trading. We are fortunate that we have the opportunity to get bids from cash buyers in the market. And I'm not talking about cash buyers like Facebook Marketplace where a person, it's one of your neighbors from your town coming to look at your car. I'm talking about institutional cash buyers. People who cut a check instantly and, they do an inspection. That Jeep Grand Cherokee I sold to CarMax, they were the highest bidder 3 years ago during the pandemic. I'm not going to tell you what I made because those values don't exist anymore. So it just doesn't even make sense. But, those of you who were watching my videos earlier 3 years ago or using my tips, you guys cashed out and made ridiculous money. When corporations were trying to make money on people, we made money too. But CarMax won the bid. I went down there. They did an inspection on the vehicle. They came back. Accounting department came, cut me a check. I walked away with a check. That's it. You don't want to trade. You want to sell. You want to break your not even break your transactions. I need you, Victoria, to realize there are three transactions in a car deal. Who you're going to sell your car to, That's one. Who you're going to buy your car from, that's another. Who you're going to get your loan from, that's the third one. Now, you're not always cash buyers. Deshone, I pay cash. Then you don't need that. Deshone, I don't have a vehicle to replace. Then you don't need that. But how do we make sure we get the highest value or the biggest discount? Bids. Each one, we make the market bid. So what you should do right now, Victoria, this is step 2 in my book. After we decide whether we're going to buy or lease our next vehicle, that's step 1. Then we move to what is called the equity assessment. We need to find out, do we have equity or negative equity? Equity assessment. We call our bank. If we have a loan, we find out what our payoff is. Then we're going to go to carmax.com. I'm going to give you the 6 companies. This is the equity assessment process. We do this for leases too. I don't know if we have time to go into that, but I'm sure there's people on here who didn't know you could sell a lease. Type a question mark if you didn't know. Deshone, what do you mean selling leases? I never heard of that before. Type a question mark if you didn't know you could sell leases. We have an equity assessment process for that too. But what you would do is you go to CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer. This takes 20 minutes. Auto Nation, Sell My Car, and Car Gurus, Sell My Car. Car Gurus, Auto Nation, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer, Driveway, Carvana, CarMax. 6 offers in 20 minutes. That's bids. See, everything we do is a bid. That's how we have peace of mind. We don't negotiate. We make people negotiate with each other. There's 2 schools of thought. I want to remodel my kitchen. I want to remodel my whole kitchen. I go in and I have 5 people come out to give me a quote. One of them comes in and I start negotiating with them. Hey, you got to take less. Hey, you got to take less. You got to take less. I don't know if it's a good price or not. But when I come in, the first person comes in, I say, hey, okay, great. Is this your best offer? I'm having a couple other people come by. Oh, okay. Okay, thanks a lot. Next offer? Oh, next offer? Oh, well, listen, look, I could beat that. Oh, I'll give you another 5,000 off. They're competing against each other. When someone knows you are shopping their competition, you're making them compete with each other. They're negotiating with each other, not with you. That's a bar. Type of exclamation point if you got that. When people know you're making them compete with their competition, they're negotiating with their competition, not with you. That's the power of bidding. That's why we got grandmothers and single mothers that can come in and do this. That's why we got people who can come in and do this. You know, how are people getting these prices? Not negotiating, because they're making people negotiate with each other to earn their business. They're making banks negotiate with each other to earn their business. It's a beautiful thing. Banks and dealerships depend on you not making them compete. They want to negotiate with you and try to make you imagine and make you think, well, that's the bottom. That's the bottom. And you think that's the bottom, but that's only their bottom. Their competition's bottom is different. Their competition's best interest rate is different. Their competition's best discount is different. And why is what we do so easy? Because we're right here in our houses. That's why our entire system, our company, my book, our mindset is called Cars from Home. Cars from Home. It encompasses everything we do. Cars from Home. So that's what you do, Victoria. First thing you do is you go to those 6 websites, get your 6 cash offers, and that's going to be higher than any dealer you would ever consider trading the car to. Guaranteed. And this also allows us to eliminate the fake emails we get. All of this stuff is computer generated. I know you guys get these emails. Hey, Deuce, great news. We need your 2016 Kia Optima. We have a customer looking for it. We'll pay you $2,000 over MSRP. Who's gotten those emails? We'll pay you $2,000 over Kelly's Blue Book. Who's gotten those emails? Deuce, the list is CarMax, Carvana, KBB Instant Cash Offer, Driveway, Auto Nation, and Car Gurus. Car Gurus. That's step 2 in my book, the equity assessment process. This is stuff we do before we start shopping. Decide whether we buy or lease is step 1. That's going to put our deal on the right foundation. Step 2 is the equity assessment. Everything we do is a path. It's a clear, easy path. Okay, so yeah, I forgot the question that I just asked, but let's go. I could already tell. See, I could tell when I'm winding down because y'all could tell stuff will start blurring to me. That's why I'm like, see, and if that happens to me, I know it happens to you. Like that's why I'm like, listen, grab your copy of Cars from Home. It's a digital book. You'll have it in your inbox in minutes. It has it's continued updates. I probably updated that book 5 times since we originally launched it. Added calculators to it. Those weren't in it originally. I've added the calculators. I'm committed to making stuff better without being like imagine this. Oh, well, you bought volume 1 of Cars from Home, but I just put a new tool in, guys. Now you're going to get volume 2. And now every time a website changes, you got to get volume 2 and volume 3. And 5 years from now, you're getting volume 9 each time. It's like, no, literally one-time cost. And I can't tell you if that'll be around forever. I can't tell you that. I can't tell you 3 years from now, I'm going to be giving free updates of the book. I don't know. But I know today, that's what it is. Everyone who gets their book, you get free updates as I update the book. Because there's value in that. There's value. I could send an email out to people every 3 years and ask them, hey, did you enjoy the book? They're going to say, hey, yeah. Well, here's the thing. My new version is this. There's value in that. It could just be $24. They're already a believer. Someone who used the book's already a believer. So they'd be like, yo, the new version, oh, I'm about to shop again. $24. I'll pay it again. It's the best money I ever spent. But for now, I'm not doing that. Those of you who have the book, you will get free updates, and we'll keep you on the list to make sure you always get free updates of the book. So your link for 75% off is in the YouTube comments. It's only good for 30 minutes. It's in the Facebook comments, and it's in my Instagram and TikTok bios. Click those links in my bio. Click the button that says 75% off my new book. Get there before the $97, before it goes back up to $97. And make sure you save the support email, guys. Screenshot the support email. It's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. If that book is not in your inbox in 5 minutes, I want you to email my support team. Make sure you check your spam. And I also want you to, as soon as you purchase, you'll see, I say, hey, access your book below. So there's a link where you can click, open it up, get your book immediately if you want to download it, but I also email you a copy. But make sure you save the support email just in case. And again, that email is not for questions. Okay, it's not for car shopping questions, nothing like that. That's only to make sure you get your book. Okay, so great. Listen, great job. We've been on here about 1 hour and 20 minutes. Great questions. You guys know I like to go into detail in these questions. I would love to be able to get through 100 questions in 1.5 hours, but that's just not the way it works. We're not talking about buying, $100 items here. If we were talking about house buying, we'd have to go into detail. These are major items. This is the most expensive item y'all are going to buy behind your house. Think about that. And think about how many people are there to protect you when you buy a house. Think about how many people have licenses. See how that question got asked earlier? Can they sue if it was a house and they did you wrong? Sure. You can go before the real estate commission. People can lose their license. People can lose their ability to practice real estate. If they did something unethical, you can bring them before a court and a judge, and you can have recourse. You can get, justice. Cars, you got nobody. No one's licensed. The person who's helping you buy your car that you're sitting there negotiating with, which I want you to stop, they might have just got that job. And they didn't get that job because they're a finance expert and they're someone who understands how to help you, because they're not going to ever make you compete against. They're never going to put you in a position where you can make them compete. They'll say, hey, let's negotiate. But here's the thing. That person just got a job because, you know how many people walked in a dealership with a good smile and a good personality? 2 weeks later, they're selling cars. These are the people that are helping you. They're not licensed. They didn't go through school. They didn't go through ethics training. They didn't go through any of this stuff that realtors and brokers have to go through to help you buy houses. So when you get your car, it is on you. That's why you want me working with you. You want my blueprint. You're not by yourself. You're watching my videos. Once you get my book, you can stop watching my social media videos. I don't want you watching my social media videos if you have my book. It's just going to confuse you, because what my social media videos do is warn you what not to do. That's what my social media videos do. Don't do this. The worst thing you could do is this. The worst thing you could do is this. Don't do this. My book is teaching you what to do. It's telling you what to do. It's not an education book. It's a do this first. Step 1, do this, do this, do this. Step 7, hey, congratulations. We're taking delivery. We're not focused on that. So once you get my book, you don't have to watch my social media videos ever again. And I want to say that because a lot of people will get the book and still be watching them and trying to piece it together. You got my blueprint. You don't need those videos anymore. Okay? So always a pleasure, y'all. God bless you. To those of you who have your book, make sure you email me when you pick up your cars, send me all the details. Deshone, check this out. This is what I got. This is what I paid, so that we can bring you guys into the stream and continue to tell everybody about you. So about the results. All right. God bless y'all. I will see y'all on the next stream. Always a pleasure. All right, hang on. Welcome to Car Shopping Questions and Answers. We are going to be going deep on all your car shopping questions. No question is off limits. And if you don't know me, my name is Deshone the Auto Advisor. We're already up and running on TikTok. We got our first couple questions about to come in, but I need to get back on Facebook because we have to start Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at the same time, or it's not going to work. So let me it's all good. Stay right there. And I want you guys to start typing your questions. We'll be here for a powerful hour, and I'm just going to go through as many questions as I can in an hour. And we're going to be talking inside stuff. I don't hold back. Some of you know who've been on the stream with me. I do not hold back when it comes to questions and what we do here. So let's just go on Facebook. All right. Hang on. Let me throw the link up. Perfect. Yeah. All right. Okay. We're good to go. Dolan, you can bring the first question in. And let me give a new. Welcome, Facebook. We're on 4 platforms right now going live for car shopping questions and answers. Type your questions in below, and we're going to make sure we get to them. All right. It's not easy getting 4 platforms live at the same time. And we have 2 TikTok channels that we're live on at the same time. So everything we'll be talking about is out of my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. I have a special link for you to get a copy at 75% off in my TikTok bio, in my Instagram bio, or in the YouTube or Facebook comments for the next 30 minutes. Let's rock and roll. All right. First question comes from Scott on TikTok. I'm trying to buy a new pickup truck in New Jersey. Not sure how to do it. Well, the first thing we want to do is decide whether we're going to buy or lease. If you're keeping this truck longer than 8 years, then you should be buying. Once you decide whether you're going to buy or lease, and that's how you're going to avoid depreciation. Like you could save a ton of money on this truck, but if you trade that truck in 3 years, 4 years, you're going to lose a lot and you're going to just be buried because you're losing too much over the first 5 to 7 years of the truck's life cycle. So if you're like Deshone, I'm keeping it more than 8 years, no need for me to think about leasing, all good. Now we're going to move to what we call the equity assessment. Do you have any vehicle that you own right now that you need to replace? Because there's a word that we don't use here. Some of you know who've been on the stream with us for a while. What's the word we do not use? Starts with a T. There's a word here. See, so, and I'm moving you through this process. So Scott, I want you to see this is a process. It's not we don't wing it here. So there's a word we don't use. You already decide whether you're going to buy or lease. Let's see. Does anybody know? We might have a lot of new people on here today. Thank you, Brenda. Trade in. Brenda got it. We don't trade in vehicles. Because again, when we start talking about getting all the money on our car deals, we got to realize something. We got to get all the money from each transaction. That means the car we have right now, if we don't get the most money for that, we lost money. The loan we may be getting, if we don't get the lowest interest rate, we lost money. And the car we're buying, if we don't get the best price, we lost money. So what we do is the equity assessment. Let me know if you have a vehicle you're going to be replacing. We would make sure we go online, we go to bidders, and we find out the highest bid we can get on our vehicles. Takes us 20 minutes. 6 major websites: CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book, Instant Cash Offer, Car Gurus, and AutoNation. These are people who are fighting tooth and nail every day to buy cars. So we get bids from them. Now, let's move in. Let's say you don't have a car to replace. Now what do? Well, let's look at how we're going to pay for this truck. Are we going to, let me turn on airplane mode to make sure I don't get any interruptions. All right, how are we going to pay for this truck? Are we going to buy it cash, or are we getting a loan? So if we're getting a loan, then we need to see, are there any special interest rates on this truck we're looking at? If there's 0%, if there's 1.99%, that eliminates us from needing to shop for a loan. That's called a subvented interest rate. No one's beating it. So when you guys see like Honda, if a vehicle you're shopping for has a 2.99% interest rate, 1.99, that eliminates us shopping. But there's one parameter we must look at in the fine print. What's the term? Is it for 3 years? Is it for 5 years? If they give us 0% for 3 years, a lot of people can't afford that payment. Interest is great. There's no interest. It's free money. But you got to be able to afford the payment based on the term. Then we move into looking at, is this a quality truck? It's a very important step. Let me tell you what happened. People used to buy Range Rover. When I worked at Mercedes, we had a Range Rover dealer right next door. People come in and get a great deal on a Range Rover, come in, feel like, okay, I won. That truck's in the shop every 90 days. Every 3 months. Lights going off, it's on a flatbed. We had people going in that dealership, literally. Maserati had a couple models, same thing. But there are domestic models too. There are import models. There are Japanese models too that have issues. So what we do is we do a quick search, takes us 5 minutes. Nothing that I'm talking about takes more than a couple minutes. In fact, our entire process to buy cars that I teach, my 7-step system, is 90 minutes to 2 hours. You can get the best, you can get below market deals on any vehicle in no more than 2 hours. So, but we can't get a below market deal and then find out we bought a bad vehicle. That means we lost. So whatever truck you're looking at, you would type that truck into Google and you would type, for example, 2024 Chevy Silverado, and you would type in initial quality. Initial quality, guys, is going to tell us what the data says about the vehicle in its first 90 days. That's initial quality reports. That means when people get it, all the owners, the thousands of owners that are buying this vehicle, what are they saying in the first 90 days? Are they saying the electric, are they saying it's hard to manage? It's too complex, there's issues. Initial quality we look at and we skim Google to see if we see any red flag articles. Then we switch initial quality to reliability. Reliability is what are people saying the first 3 years? Does this vehicle have a history in the first 3 years of having issues? Maserati owners who was buying these Ghiblis and buying things back in the day, the Quattroportes that were having issues, they would have saw that. And they would have made a decision not to buy those vehicles. These things, this 5-minute exercise prevents you from nightmare ownership experiences. Paying less than everyone is one part of this deal, guys, of what I want you to get. That's one part of it. Getting a quality vehicle is the other side. And you can't have one without the other. Great price, not a quality vehicle, we lost. Quality vehicle, we paid market value or above market value, we lost. So we need to get both. So then once we find out, okay, the vehicle I'm looking for, it has great marks, there's no red flags, now we move into getting offers. And very simple, we get offers right from home. That's why everything I teach is called Cars from Home. Cars from Home. It's a mindset and it's also a process. We sit down here and we contact dealers online. I have something in my book called the 25 to 5 strategy. That means we're connecting with 25 dealers in 20 minutes and we're going to get 5 offers. It is important that you must get 5 offers because 4 of them are going to be overpriced. I can guarantee you that. Right now I've worked with 2,200 people personally around the country, and we have about 9,000, approaching 10,000 people that have my digital book, Cars from Home, in their hand in the last 4 months. So when we look at the data, not to mention I shop myself, you know what I'm saying? I've used this. I know you may think every dealer has the same price. They're all different. They're all different. That's why your best deal, and pay attention to what I'm about to say. In fact, hit the share button if you're locked in. Share this with one friend because one friend might be out there shopping right now, overpaying. All right. Oftentimes, the dealers that are the closest to you are not going to give you the best offer because they think they own you. I'm going to say that again. When a dealer sees your zip code come in, when I was in the dealer, we used to get we call them leads. Anyone in sales, you know the term leads. When we see that the zip code is a zip code that is right here, 5 minutes away, 10 minutes away, 20 minutes away, there's a mindset there that this person is not going to shop. So they're not going to give you your best offer in many cases. What you're going to get is an overpriced offer, and you won't see it until you learn to speak to dealers that are a little further away from you. Now, if you're doing it my way, you're using my book, you get your copy for 75% off. You won't pay the $97 price. I have email scripts in there. We don't talk. You use these email scripts when you're buying new cars and leases. We have a different process for used cars, but we still don't talk. You have the, and what's happening is you're going to see that sometimes the offers that come from 45 minutes away, an hour away, are your best offer because they're trying to take business from their competition. Some of these smaller dealers as well who don't have the foot traffic, they're not getting 100 people coming in on a weekend. They have to depend on strategically winning business. They're using the internet to reach out and connect with people that are far away from them, and they're beating their competition. But if you're programmed to go right into your local dealer, you're never going to get their prices. Type a $ if y'all are following. Type a $ if you're following what I'm saying right now. Type a $ if you're locked in right now. Type a $ if you care about your money and you're like, you know what? We're going to unlearn all the things that we were programmed to do. I'm going to tell you here's how we know we were programmed. And if I wasn't in the car business, I'd be just like y'all. That's why it's my mission to teach. You know how we know we were programmed? We never learned to buy cars. We were indoctrinated in a way of buying cars. We didn't consciously make a decision, approached it and said, this is how I'm going to buy cars. We were indoctrinated into how people buy cars, and that's what makes the dealer principals in these dealer groups, Fortune 500 companies that trade on Wall Street and make billions of dollars, because they have a predictable way that they serve the customer. It's not for the customer's benefit, it's for profit. So when you start doing this, and Scott, I just gave you the first 5 steps of our process. When you start doing this, you're going to see that the same people who you thought really liked you, Charlie down at the dealership that he sold cars to you, your parents. When you start making Charlie compete, you're going to see Charlie wasn't really for you. You're going to see that. The same person who, man, we always bought cars from him, but when you start making them compete, things change. Things change dramatically. And that's going to reveal to you, oh man, Charlie, how long you been overcharging me then? How long? See, because one dealer's best offer is not another dealer's best offer. So it's not like Charlie's lying. When he says to you, hey, listen, Ashley, listen, Miss Whittington, I can't do any better than this. This is our best offer. He may not be lying, especially, you shouldn't be there, but we do this, we never talk numbers in a dealership. But once they say that's our best offer, that's their best offer. When you hear from another dealer online, it's a different best offer. Another dealer online, it's a different best offer. And then you start saying to yourself, okay, I just need to find a dealer whose best offer is the lowest among everybody. But we can't stick with one dealer, because you'll never see how much you're overpaying by dealing with one dealer. So that's the process, Scott. That's the start. If you embrace that mindset, you're going to win every time. My 2 favorite words are multiple offers. You want to protect yourself from overpaying on anything. I don't care if you're getting your house renovated, multiple offers. Those of you who's not a good negotiator. Before we go to the next question, because I see we got a lot more questions coming, and keep typing them, and Dolan's going to pull in the next one. Before we go to the next question, who's not a good negotiator? Type me. Not a good negotiator. I know we got some negotiators on here. We got a good amount of people, but who's not? You just don't like it. You're either not good at it. You don't like confrontation. It's just not your thing. Who'll be honest and let us know. It's not your thing. Okay, I see you, Brenda. Okay. All right, I see you, Tony. Okay. I see you. Let's go. Okay, we got a bunch of negotiators. Okay, I see you, Michelle. Okay, they're coming in now. Okay. Multiple offers is, you never have to be a great negotiator. If you embrace multiple offers, you never need to be a great negotiator, because what happens when you start getting multiple offers, you're not negotiating with the person trying to sell you something. You're making them negotiate with the other people trying to sell you stuff. Big difference. When you negotiate one-to-one, you're negotiating with a person. When you make other people get bids and you get multiple offers, now those people are negotiating with each other to win your business. That's how we have deals. That's how we have people like Danielle here, who she got her Audi. She's paying a ridiculously low payment, $550 a month, $44,000 vehicle, no money down. That's how somebody like Sean saves 20 grand off of his F-150 Lightning here. Wrote me in. Now pay attention. Pay attention to what I'm about to tell you about Sean's deal. What's so important is he saved 20 grand, 21,000 off his new F-150 Lightning. But here's the big thing. When I asked him about the deal, I want to find his post. He said to me, no other dealer, I want you to see this. He has shopped locally. Where are we? I think this is it. Okay, hang on. Okay, I'll tell you what he said. He had to go 150 miles out to get that deal. He had to go 150 miles out to get that deal. So what you're going to see from most people who learn from me, and you'll be this way too, you're driving an hour to pick up your vehicle, but it's a great drive because you know the money you saved. You don't mind driving an hour to pick up your new vehicle when you know that I'm saving $5,000 on this hour-long trip. All those other dealers close to me that felt like they owe me, none of them wanted to make me this offer. But this one deal over here, He's beating them by $5,000. I remember this young lady in California. She was buying a Volvo, and she had to fly. She called me. She said, Southern California dealer made me the best offer. They beat my highest offer in Northern California by $4,000. All the offers I got, the best one in Northern California, this dealer in Southern California beat it by $4,000. I said, so what you gonna do? She said, I just got the plane ticket. It was $70. I said, that's what I would have did. So we have to go to where we're saving the money, y'all. This is a one-time thing. You buy your vehicle from who's making you the best offer. You service your vehicle from where it's most convenient. Two big differences. All right, go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next one up. Everyone who just jumped on, this entire stream is sponsored by my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's already 5-star rated. You can Google it. For the next 30 minutes, you can get your copy for 75% off. It's my entire blueprint of leasing step-by-step, getting below market leases, getting below market purchases, getting below market pre-owned deals step-by-step, making banks bid for our business step-by-step. Now, 30 minutes only. After 30 minutes, the price goes back up to $97. So you can click the link in my TikTok bio, click that picture of me, or click the link in my Instagram bio, and come back to the broadcast after you get your book. As soon as you pay on that thank you page, I want you to screenshot that. There's a link to open the book right there. So not only will I email you a copy, on the thank you page, you click a link, and that book is right there too. So, and then for those of you on YouTube or Facebook, we have the link showing below. Link in the comments for you, and Facebook, you guys will see the floating link. So 30 minutes, get your copy. You won't pay the $97 price. You'll get yours for $24, and you have everything step by step. You won't have to remember any of this or watch my social media videos anymore. Okay. Scott says, dude, just wondering if you've heard of the Ford Flex Buy program, and if so, what are your thoughts? Well, let me do a little research on this. Hang on, because we can find out if this is going to be good for you or not. Let me tell you how easy it is when you figure this, Scott. When you grab this mindset, when you unlearn this. Hold on, they're saying they couldn't hear me on TikTok. Okay. Well, as long as you could, well, I know you guys can hear me here. We're on 2 TikTok channels right now. So let me see here. I'm pretty sure. Give me a, before we hit this question, let me make sure. Can you guys hear me on TikTok right now? Type yes. If we don't want to continue and people can't hear us. So let me know. But I see, these are the people I love right here. I love people who say, I'm going to get to it. Hopped off of TikTok, because we're on 2 TikTok channels, and now on Facebook. She said, I'm getting to this information. I don't care if I got a skim platform. I love it. Okay, so we're good. It must be just this one TikTok channel then that we're having issues with. So it's all good. Let me close this one out, and then we'll keep it moving. Okay, so this is how easy it is to find out if something's worth it or not. Does it make people compete for my business, or does it try to lock me into something? The competition is what saves us money, which is why none of these websites you're ever going to see is going to create competition. I'll tell you about the used car websites. They're not creating competition. I'll tell you that. See, I don't want to skip this, but let's check this Flex Buy program, and then if we have time, I'll explain to you why those used car marketplaces we shop on, it's not competition. They're trying to sell you on variety. But let's check the Flex Buy program, and let's see how this works. Okay. So what is Flex Buy? Flex Buy is a unique payment plan for qualified buyers. Ford Flex Buy program payments start out lower, gradually get higher after 36 months. The Ford Flex Buy program takes the rate on a 60-month traditional loan and extends that rate to 66 months. The first 36 months of the loan, the payment will be lower as compared to the 60-month payment. The last 30 months of the loan, the payment will be higher than the first 36-month payment. Although every reasonable effort has been made to ensure the accuracy of the information. Okay, hold on. Let's see. I'm going to tell you what I don't like about this already, and I need more information. If this is in any way adjusting to the market rate. I'm talking about if the bank says like think about an adjustable rate mortgage. Some people have had a fixed rate and some people have had an adjustable rate mortgage. The adjustable rate is good for the lender because the lender says, all right, here, pay this rate that we agree on today, but in 3 years, 5 years, and 7 years on an adjustable rate mortgage, let's talk about what your new rate is based on what the market rate is. If that's in any way like this is trash. Because the banks will say, all right, well, for the first part of the loan, we're going to do one interest rate. And then we'll look and say, midway through, what's the market rate? And if the market rate's lower, great, you win. If the market rate's higher, then you lose. So here's the thing. When we're getting loans, I'm getting ready to explain something to you guys called the bank bidding war. There's so much money in loans, it's ridiculous. That's why there's people who want to loan you money to buy cars. They don't even sell cars. And could y'all keep tapping the screen on TikTok and running those likes up? Can we get to 1,000 likes real quick? Every time y'all tap the screen, y'all run the likes up and y'all actually help TikTok bring more people over here that need to be here. So I appreciate everybody. And thank you to everyone who hits the like button. I appreciate you. It does matter. Now, the credit bureaus in the United States allow you to do something called rate shopping. Rate shopping is when you actually let multiple lenders run your credit within a small period of time, and they can access it with a hard pull and it won't drop your credit score. More than one hard pull. So let's just say one bank, Bank of America, accesses our credit to give us an offer for a loan. It may drop our credit 9 points because of the hard pull. If we shop within the rate window, we can have 50 banks at credit unions run our credit, and it's going to affect it the same 9 points. That's called the rate window. I haven't heard anyone talk about this. I've been talking about this for literally over 2 years. I think I have a couple big videos that you guys have shared, watched, that talk about how to do this. When you are getting your offers from banks, you want to get them after you've already found your best deal on your car. Because once you get your best deal on your car, you have everything you need now to go to the bank or go online, call the bank and get an offer. Who's had a bank tell them when they call for some type of offer, the bank tells you, well, we need you to have a car first. Who's had that happen? You call and you're coming and you're shopping for you're trying to get a pre-approval or something like that, and the bank tells you, well, we need what car are you buying? We need the car details. Well, that doesn't really make sense, right? I'm trying to get the offer so I can go get the car. But in the case of how we do it, we find our best deal on the car, then we come home and we let multiple banks and credit unions fight it out. Fight it out. Because I guarantee if this Flex Buy program doesn't allow you to shop for your rate and compare whatever rate they're going to offer to whatever rate you're going to get, you're going to lose with that program. And all they want you to do is see that, hey, well, we're going to give you flexible payments. They're trying to hook in people who just like, hey, that sounds good. Not realizing, well, if you just got a rate that was just got an interest rate that was 2 points lower, your payment would be $40 less a month. So interest rate shopping, guys, is extremely important. That's why when you get my book, I give you what's called the Bank Bidding War Blueprint. This is for you guys that are financing. I haven't added that to my book yet because I haven't had a chance to go in and restructure it. Every time I update the book, every time I come up with a new idea or a new website comes up, I update the book. I don't charge you for that. So websites go out of business. Room went out of business earlier this year. Websites go out of business. I'm not going to charge you for each time something changes because we use an online program. But what I did was when you get your book, you get the book, Cars from Home, and then you get the Bank Bidding War Blueprint. All this is the strategies we use to make banks and credit unions bid. I need you guys making people bid for your own sake, for your confidence, for your empowerment, for your experience. You're going to feel like I'm the prize. I'm spending $50,000 here. Why the heck am I begging people to sell me a car? Who's ever felt like they're begging people? Come on, can you take off another 1,000? Come on, can you drop it by $50 a month? Come on. You're begging people. Meanwhile, this is a 5-figure transaction. So when you flip the tables like we've been doing, like all of the people, if you're on Instagram or if you're on YouTube, you can see all of these people. You can see Zafrina, you can see Jared. Look at all these deals. People posting their numbers. Teddy, Rosalie. How does Rosalie get a 65? How much is this vehicle? How much? How does Rosalie get a $60,000 vehicle at $592 a month with no money down? How does she lease that vehicle at $592 when the same daggone Infinity advertisements we see say, hey, come put $5,000 down plus tax and you can pay that price? She did it with no money down. How? Bids. Okay? Bids. All right. Scott, if the program doesn't make people bid, it's no good. I don't care if it's flex buy, X buy, friends and family. If it's not making people bid, it's trash. It's for them, not us. Okay? I think I beat that horse down. So we can go to the next question now. Go ahead, Dolan. Remember, everybody, you have 30 minutes to get your copy for 75% off. Make sure you save my support email just in case you type your email wrong. Sometimes the book doesn't end up in your inbox. Just hit support, send them an email. My team works 7 days a week. Hey, didn't get my book. They'll get you a copy. We want the book in your inbox. We want you using it immediately. All right. This is Lorraine Celine. Thank you. I followed you in your advice on shopping for a used car, and I bought a 2007 Honda Accord at a great price. Thank you for your knowledge and advice. Amen. Congratulations. Enjoy it. Honda's a great vehicle. If you took the steps and made sure you were getting a good one, title, service records, accident history, a great Honda Accord is incredible. Even some of these vehicles, guys, long-term owners, some of you long-term owners, you need to understand which vehicles have the best longevity records. And Honda Accord is one of them. Congratulations, Lorraine. Enjoy it. God bless you. Go ahead, Dolan. Next one. Buying a Porsche Cayenne Coupe. Need help. Okay, well, you sound almost like Scott. We started with the process. How many years are you keeping the car? If I could find my, oh man, I don't have time to find it right now. I know why. There's a young lady who came. I want to tell you something how important deal structure is. Who was taught never to lease a car? I want you to be honest. Type me if you were taught never to lease a car. If everyone who's willing to be honest, again, it may sound like some of the things that I'm talking about is bad news first. That's because it is. I have to give you the bad news first, and then we get to the good news. All right. So now I see some misconceptions coming out already. I see Wanda. Okay. I see Black F22. He said you never own it. I want you to understand something about what you just said. If you're a person who keeps that car 8+ years, then you can own it. I'm going to tell you why. Cars depreciate like this. Cars drop in value like this. This is the scale. That's why you buy a car today for $40,000. 5 years later, it's worth $18,000 or $15,000. You're losing value. People care about this. You know who cares about this more than anyone? You guys, you know who cares about this more than anyone? Banks. Banks. Banks don't want to own things that do this. Now look, Black is coming with a lot of stuff right now. Let's talk to Black. And let's talk to the people like Black, because Black is somebody who will tell you never lease a car. He just said you're basically renting it. You never own it. Now let's get to the point. I want to show everyone on here. Thank you, Black. I'm glad you're here because we're getting ready to use this as an opportunity to prove a point. Let me take let's look at Ansley's deal he just got leasing. And we'll talk about mileage. You can build lease mileage up to 30,000 miles per year. So it doesn't matter. First thing people think, well, leasing, they limit you. No, you pick your mileage on a lease. You choose the mileage. I've had people who lease 30,000 miles a year, 25,000 miles a year, 18,000 miles a year. You pick the mileage. Now, whether you drive or whether you lease or buy, this is what your vehicle is doing. You're losing money day by day. So when you go and you buy a vehicle, you're losing money day by day. The reason I created the 8-year rule is for you to understand that at some point, you stop losing value day by day. You lose less value. This is what we call beating depreciation. It comes with long-term ownership. But let's look at Ansley's deal so that we can put this leasing versus buying to bed and show you how many of you have overpaid by thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that you can't get back listening to people who tell you leasing is renting and all of these horrible financial terms. Let's go to the numbers. So Ansley gets a 2024 Infiniti truck. It's a $58,000 truck. If you're watching on Instagram or YouTube, you can see this. It's a $58,000 truck. Guys, some of you know because you've seen some stuff, every $5,000 on a loan is how much per month? Every $5,000 we borrow on a loan, 5 years, is about how much per month? Anybody know? Thank you, Michelle. 100 bucks. Told you, shout out to the people who tapped in, locked in, locked in. See, I love the people who are locked in. It's some people who just, they sleep at the wheel. I need the people who are locked in. I'm really only talking to you. Now, that means this vehicle that Ashley went in to get, his $58,000 vehicle, if he would have just said, all right, I want to buy it because I was taught leasing is renting, how much is it going to cost me a month? No money down. Let's figure, we're going to compare apples to apples. No money down, because when you put money down into the deal, that confuses you. That actually makes you think you got a better deal than you really did. When you evaluate deals with no money going into them, it's easy to see where the best value is. Now, Ashley would have been paying $1,200 a month for 5 years. $58,000. That's not even full tax. Let's just round the tax to 60. Let's just say 1,200 bucks a month. But Deshone, what if he got a good discount? Okay, I'll give you one better. Let's go extra conservative and let's play that game. Let's pretend that he's using my strategies and he found out a way to save a huge amount of money off this brand new Infiniti. He's getting bids, he's using my strategy, but he's not leasing because he's been programmed not to lease. So he's not leasing, but he's going to get bids. Now he saves $10,000 off the price of this brand new vehicle. $10,000. So instead of financing 60, he's financing 50. What's his payment, everybody? What's his payment? We just said every 5,000 bucks is 100 bucks a month. $50,000 vehicle, what's his payment? 1,000 a month. 1,000 a month. Okay? Now that's with a super discount. That's with a discount that's like anybody would be happy to save 10 grand. I'm proving the point here that you cannot get a good deal if you buy, but you should have leased. You lost. Big time. Now watch this. He's leasing and his payment is $554 a month. So now somebody like Black, somebody like Miggy over here that agrees with Black, they pull up in their Infiniti truck, right? And they pull up next to you. And y'all are both driving the exact same truck. And you look at them and you're like, hey, man, we got the same truck. Now they're going to say something to you like, yeah, you know, man, it's expensive though, man. It costs to drive this, right? And you're going to look at them and be like, oh, how much you paying? You know, I did a no money down deal. So I know I did all right. I did no money down, but I'm paying $1,000 per month for this. Oh, really? I did no money down too, but I'm paying $554. Wait, you? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I leased this. I drive it for 3 years, then I give it back. Oh, yeah, but I own this. I'm gonna own this in 5 years at $1,000 a month. This mine right here. Okay. All right. Listen. God bless you. Have a good enjoy, man. Enjoy. Now let's go one more scenario. Let's go to the person who says, Deshone, I don't buy used. I don't buy new though. I only buy used. Cool. Let's say you pull up in your new lease that you just got. And again, everyone shouldn't be leasing. That's why step 1 in my book is called the 8-year rule. It's the 8-year rule. If you are keeping vehicles at least 8 years, don't worry about leasing. You're going to beat depreciation. All of that money you're going to pay to own, all the $1,000, all these high payments you're going to pay to own, all this cash that has to come out of your pocket to own, out of your bank account to own, it'll be worth it in the long run. At least 8 years though. And the longer the better. 10, 12, 15, you really want. But less than 8, losing big time. So let's say a person says, oh, I'm going to get a used version. So they find a 3-year-old Infiniti truck just like this, but so instead of paying $60 for it, let's say they find one for $30. Let's give them a good price, good mileage. They think, oh, I'm good. What's their payment, everybody? What's the payment? Come on, stay by the keyboard. I need y'all quick because we're teaching something here to people like Black. They might not get it. I pray that they do, but they might not get it. But the people who are locked in financially, the people who understand financial literacy are going to get this. If every $5,000 is $100 a month and they buy a pre-owned version for 30 grand, what's their payment? Thank you, Michelle. 600. 600. See, he said 500. So this is how I know he's struggling. And I'm not trying to beat you down, man. I'm just saying when you're talking about something you don't understand, it's better to ask questions, not make statements. So now, we pull up. You have your new lease. You got this same deal, $554 a month. He pulls up in his 3-year-old version that has probably 1 year of warranty left. You both did a no money down deal. He looks at you and says, oh, wow, that's the new one, right? Yeah. This is the 2024. 2025. Oh, yeah, this is a 22. I just got this. I got a good price on it. I paid 30. Okay, cool. What's your payment? I pay 600 a month. What you pay for the new one, man? I know that must be expensive. I pay 554. Wait, what? Yeah, I paid 554 for this. No, you put a lot of money down, right? No, I didn't. I gave him $554. I drove off. It's understanding. That's deal structure. That's why when I came and started teaching 3 years ago, I had to teach deal structure. I couldn't teach people to just go in and buy cars, get great prices. If you get a great price, but your structure is wrong, you overpaid. You're driving cars, you're driving older cars with no warranty. And many of people who've been taught to do this, they never even pay the car off. They trade the car in before they even pay it off. They literally, I used to have people walk into the Mercedes dealer and they look at me and say, Deshone, is that the new version? I'm like, yeah, that's the new one. He's like, I got 3 payments left on this. This one, as soon as I pay it off, I'm coming to see you for that one. So this is a person who paid these high payments because they wanted to own. They thought they were going to own. As soon as they get their title, it's like running a marathon. Oh, these high payments, these payments are so high, but one day I'm going to pay this car off. And then as soon as you get to the end of the race, you go start another race. It's horrible. It's horrible. And so that's why we don't move into any other step before we get to the buy versus leasing. That's why it's step 1 in my book. So we can sit here all day and compare numbers. There is no comparison to a person who's getting great lease deals versus a person who's buying. It's not even close. We're driving better cars. We're driving, they're usually always under warranty. We're paying cents on the dollar when you know how to get below market leases. I'm not talking about these commercials y'all see. That ain't nothing. We don't pay those prices. None of these people, look, you think Zafrina, who got a Jeep Grand Cherokee lease, and she paid Look, she's paying $527 a month. She's paying $527 a month. Oh no, that's Teddy. Hold on. You think Zafrina, who's paying $579 a month for a $66,000 truck, is ever going to she's not going to let this bad information get to her anymore. She's driving a $66,000 truck. So again, now let me, before we go to the next question, I'm going to just read some things from Black because he's over here typing. And I do want to give him the courtesy of reading because we just used him as a teaching moment. I think everyone learned. If you just got what I just taught about the leasing versus buying, type $sign. Just type $signs. If you got that point of me, see, no one talks to you about payments. They say things like never lease, always do this, always do that. But they never talk numbers. The reason why we go straight to the numbers is because the numbers don't lie. They say men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. So when we go to the numbers, shout out to everybody. I see y'all. I see y'all. I see you, Wanda. I see you, Tony. I see you, Michelle. I see you, Megan. I see you, Brenda. I see you, Federico. That's the name of the game, is putting your deal on the right foundation so that you know, again, like I said, banks don't want to own vehicles. Think about that. Banks don't want vehicles that are not bringing income in. They don't want a depreciating asset on their books because today it's worth 40, tomorrow it's worth 39,800, the next day it's worth 39,700, the next day it's worth 39,600. That's what a depreciating asset is. They don't want them on their books in the short term. They're in the short-term business. And some of us are in the short-term business too. The only people that are winning long-term with purchases are those of you who keep your cars 8+ years. Because you beat depreciation. All right, so Black said, nah, bro. Okay. Keyword, no money down. You put 10 to 20% down, then it's a different story. You can't make this stuff up. Let's go. You cannot make this stuff up. Watch this, y'all. Watch this. I just compared 3 no money down transactions on the same vehicle. 3. New, used, new lease. 3, no money down. I'm telling people that when you don't put money down, you can clearly see what you're really paying. You can clearly see what you're really paying. Black comes in, he proves our point, which is he's going to put 10 to 20% down. Now he's pulling up next to you in your lease, right? You're $554 a month, brand new, fully warranted, all the latest and greatest features. Now he puts 10 to 20% down on that's $10,000 to $12,000. Think about this. He pulls up and he has a similar payment to you. So he feels like we're alike. He feels like we're pretty close. In fact, he may even feel like he's doing better than you because he's purchasing his and you own yours. I mean, you're leasing yours. But watch this. What about that $12,000 you gave him? What about that $12,000 you gave them? That's how people forget. That's why everything in the Car From Home system, when you get the book, you're going to see everything is about shopping with zero down, looking at offers, and then choosing, do I want to put money down to lower my payment? Money down does not buy your deal. I made a video about this. Some of you have seen it and shared it. People who make a down payment and think they got a deal. You have a deal before you put your money down, or you don't have a deal. A deal means I shopped all my offers, and then I found the dealer who was going to discount the vehicle the most. Now, how do I want to pay for that? Do I want to get a loan? If I'm getting a loan, what do I want my payment to be? Now I'm going to manipulate my down payment based on what I want my payment to be. That has nothing to do with the deal I got, but somebody like Black or people who move like him, hopefully we can help you get over these mindsets. But you have some very, very strong convictions, and you're confidently incorrect. That's dangerous. It's dangerous to be confident and incorrect. Dangerous to yourself and your family and your friends who will listen to this. If you are putting money into deals and thinking that you got a deal because your payment ended up being affordable, you in no way can win. First of all, you're letting the dealer manipulate two things: the price of the car they're selling you and the interest rate that you're getting from them exclusively. If you were just separating your loan from your interest, from the purchase, you would see that that's a losing strategy. You can't compare a person who's driving a brand new vehicle paying a low payment to a person who's paying the same payment but gave the dealer $12,000 to get to that payment. And look, here we go. Now let's get ready for the next question, because Black just said, I believe in the Ramsey rules, not leasing cars, and he's costing you. Now, let me ask you a question. How many years are you keeping your car, Black, on average? And let's just move on from there. We've given you enough, and you've been great. You have been great. I think we have all learned. You've given me a lot of things to be able to teach the audience who's willing to learn, but there is in no way, shape, or form. 3 to 4 years. My man, you are losing like crazy. Look, he's buying cars like this and flipping them. He's buying cars like this and flipping them, coming back. You're spending so much money that I can't even get it across to you because you're not in a posture to learn. You are literally buying cars in their deepest state of depreciation because somebody told you don't lease. You listen to them. You buy the car here. It's worth $40 the day you buy it. You come back in 3 to 4 years to get a new one. They give you $20 for that car. You spent $20 grand. You lost $20 grand in depreciation in 3 years. And you just keep doing that because somebody told you never lease cars and you listen to them. The payments I'm showing you, it's not clicking. The fact that the same car you bought for $40 that you're going to get $20 for, you're paying $40. That's an $800 a month payment. You put 20% down, you finance 30 grand. Now that's a $600 a month payment. That same $40,000 car we're leasing with no money down for $500 a month. No money down. You are spending thousands. We can't help you, man. You got to be willing to unlearn it. You are so locked in, So anyway, but I think, listen, everybody who got it, you understand. That is why leasing versus buying is paramount. You cannot get it. If you are not keeping your cars 8 years, you cannot get a great deal buying. You're going to lose in depreciation. You're going to lose in resale value. When you go to replace that car and you see what it's actually worth and how much you paid over 4 years or 5 years or 7 years, when you compare that to a person who drove brand new cars for that particular same period of time, it's no comparison. And then you have cars with no warranty and all of that. Yeah. Look, Megan said, Black doesn't seem to learn. So to my question would be, could you buy an extended warranty package? Hold on. Why am I getting calls on airplane mode? Sorry, guys. I hold on. Let me put on Do Not Disturb. All right, so go ahead, Dolan. Shoot some. Let's get to Megan's question, and then let's try to go through a couple more. But that was good. That was good, Black. Thank you, because we wouldn't have been able to teach on those points without your questions. Okay, so let's do Carolina on YouTube, and then let's go to we'll hit Megan, and let's go through as many as we possibly can. Hey, I'm new here. I want to trade my 2020 Nissan, and what's the best way to do this, please? Okay, so you have a 2020 Nissan. That's a vehicle that's not 5 years old. First thing you would do, if we were talking, I wouldn't let you buy. Unless you're telling me you're going to keep the next car 8 years, you're losing, because that 2020 Nissan, first thing we want to do is decide whether we're buying or leasing the next vehicle. And as we just said, if you're not keeping the next vehicle 8 years, you should be shopping for below market leases. Then you want to now see what is the most money you can get for that Nissan. We don't depend on a dealer to tell us. You're going to go to these 6 websites. These are 6 websites. You do this in 15 minutes. You're going to find out what that vehicle is truly worth. You find out what your vehicle is worth with offers, not with anything else. Offers. So go to CarMax, Driveway. Write this down. I told you, stay locked in because we do dialogue here. It's not just me talking. Unless you got a notepad, you got to stay locked in and ready. We're going to go to CarMax. We're going to go to Driveway. We're going to go to Carvana. We're going to go to KBB Instant Cash Offer. These are all offer sites. These are people you walk in, they do an inspection, they cut you a check, you're out of there in an hour with a check. They're not trying to sell your car, they just want to buy your car. Driveway, Carvana, CarMax, KBB Instant Cash Offer, Car Gurus, and Auto Nation. 6 offers, 6 bids. That's going to tell you what your vehicle is worth, and that's going to tell you if you have equity or negative equity. Equity or negative equity. Okay? So that's the first thing you need to do. First 2 things is ask yourself, how many years are you keeping the next car? And then do your equity assessment to see, do you have positive equity that could either go in your bank account or negative equity that's going to be carried over to your next deal. So that's the first step. Okay, do that first. Now, here's the beautiful thing. When I was at the dealer, I would have people who walked in as soon as I asked them how many years they were keeping the car. If they were telling me 5, like, remember the guy I mentioned a little while ago on the stream? I said he comes into the dealership. Hey, Deshone, is that the new one? As soon as he gets his title, he comes in and trades it in. I told him, there's no point in you waiting for the title. First of all, you can replace a vehicle without the title. That's fine. But again, he was taught, hey, I got to wait for my title, and then I make a move. So he always has a payment. 5-year loan, 6-year loan, pays it off, gets a new car. He always has a payment. It's just super high. But what I would do if he was listening, if he was open to financial advice, I would tell them, you're going to cash that vehicle out. That means you're going to sell this vehicle. We're going to give you a check for that. So whatever it's worth, 15, 18 grand, it's paid off. That's going to go in your pocket. Now, what he was used to doing was, well, whatever it's worth, don't I have to put that down on the next vehicle to be able to get my payment where I want it? And this was the best news I was able to deliver. This is why, and if you talk to anybody in New Jersey who dealt with me, this is how I've been. I've been the same way. From the minute I started learning about financial literacy when it comes to cars, I was a consultant educating my clients on how to keep the most money in their pocket and drive the best cars. When he would say, well, I say, are you familiar with leasing? And I would ask, how much do you drive a year? And he would say, I think about, maybe 13, 14,000. I said, let's go look at your old vehicle. We look at your old vehicle. We see, okay, yeah, based on what's on the mileage now, you drive about 14,000 a year. Here's what we're going to do. Whatever your car is worth, you're going to put that in your bank account. Let me show you what a competitive lease would look like. I make him the offer. He's like, wait a minute. This is my payment, and I could drive as much as I want. That's it. You could drive the same amount you've been driving. So I'm paying less than I was paying to own this thing? And you about to give me a check back for 12 grand, 15 grand? Yeah. This is what I want to do for the people who have been programmed that buying cars is how you should do it. Again, long-term owners, you should not be thinking about leasing. But here's how I know you need it in your tool belt, because your daughter may not be a long-term owner. Your spouse may not be a long-term owner. Your friend or whoever may not be a long-term owner. See, typically how you do things is how you teach other people to do things. So if you are keeping your cars 8, 9, 10, 12 years, you probably think everyone else is doing that. But your kids or your family members or your spouse, they may want to drive for 5 years, and then they're like, all right, this stuff's starting to go wrong. You said the warranty is up, and this got to cost $800 to fix, $400. Let's just go get a new one. Those are the people who don't have the values to keep a car long term, and you should not be buying cars for them. They should be shopping for. Now, both cases, you need below market deals, but it does not. But knowing how long you're going to keep the car is how you're going to beat depreciation. So all of this is in my digital book, guys. Everything I'm talking about on this stream is in my step-by-step book. A lot of what we talk about on these streams and in my social media videos is what not to do. My book is about what to do. It's like, do this, do this, do this, do this, steps, check it off the list. Next thing you know, you got below market deals from home. There's only 3 things we go into the dealership for: test drive, have our car appraised, and to pick up a car. We are not there to shop. We're not there to get numbers. We're not there to negotiate. We do all of this stuff from home. So for 30 minutes, if you visited the website already, you'll see the timer, 30 minutes, you can get 75% off your copy. It'll be in your inbox in literally seconds. And as soon as you pay, in my TikTok bio, in my Instagram bio, Facebook, we have a link floating for you. You guys should be able to see the link. And then Instagram, we have YouTube, we have a comment pinned for you guys. You'll have the book, but as soon as you pay, you're going to see the thank you page. It says screenshot this page. You'll see my support team email. Sometimes you type your email wrong. Contact support if the book is not in your inbox in literally 5-10 minutes. Also, as soon as you pay, you see a link that says open your book below. So there's 2 ways I'm delivering the book to you. Right there as soon as you buy, but I'm also emailing you a copy. But sometimes, we fat finger the keyboards and there's a letter off. So make sure you hold on to my support team's email and hit them up. Okay, good stuff. Get your copy. Listen, once that clock hits 0, the price is $97, which is still worth every penny. If I missed it, I go back and look. Knowing what I know, knowing what the people know, look at Tiffany. Look at Tiffany's deal. Look at Tiffany's deal. Matter of fact, let's show Vicky's deal. Look, thanks to your books and your methods, I was able to get my new lease for a 2024 Volkswagen Atlas SE Peak Edition with the tech package for $175 per month less than my first quotes. I did it all online except for picking up the car. I put no money down other than my first month's payment and DMV, which is probably $200, and saved over $6,000 on the life of that lease using your negotiating scripts. We have email scripts. This is what I want for you. I want you guys not just getting cars. Everybody's getting cars. You'll see people posting their car. Oh, I needed an upgrade. Look, get a bunch of likes. Hey, had to treat myself. You'll never see the numbers though. I want you, every time you get a car, I want you just as excited about the numbers you got as the car. And this will make sure you get there. Go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next one up. Okay, Brandon from TikTok. I've lifted the Denali truck. I owe $6,500 on it. It has 163,000 miles. It needs $3,500 worth of front end work. Should I fix it or trade it? I'm the only owner. I would make sure you get a second opinion on how much it's going to cost to fix. Lifted Denali is going to have a low resale value. But here's the thing. The cost of replacement is always more than the cost to fix. Always more. So if you got a truck, and again, your truck, you got a loan on it. You got a loan on it, 163,000 miles. I teach something, you shouldn't have a loan past the 10th birthday on a vehicle. Now you're going into a lot of risk. There's different boundaries we need to follow. But what I would do if I was you is I would make sure I'm not spending more than $3,500 unless I'm getting multiple mechanics to give me an offer. But I would see, what does it cost? What's the lowest I can pay to get this truck running? What if you pay $3,500 and it runs again for another 3-4 years? All day long. Because to get a new vehicle, $3,500 is coming out your house in probably 6-7 months. Which would you prefer? $3,500 one time and I could drive this thing for another 3 years, problem free? Or $7,000 or $10,000 a year that I'm going to pay to get a new truck. Keep the cost low when you can. All right. Listen, I'm going to jump off. Everybody, listen, we'll be back for another stream. We went deep today. I think we dug into stuff we've never dug into before. Thank you to Black for, bringing some information to us that allowed me to teach and help you guys unlearn. Everything you need is in my digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. Normally $97. It's 5-star rated. You can Google it. You can see all the reviews people wrote using it. But you won't pay $97 if you get to my TikTok bio or my Instagram bio before that 30-minute countdown expires. You'll get it for 75% off, which is $24. And on YouTube and Facebook, I have a comment pinned for you guys where you can get your copy for 75% off. Use it. Make sure you email me your success stories, and make sure you save my support team's email just in case you type your email wrong. Let's make sure my team gets you your book. All right. God bless you. Keep winning. Keep unlearning. I'll see y'all on the next one. Hit go live, then we'll roll in. Jasmine from TikTok asks, what do I do when I can't afford the lease after 1 year? Great question. You want to do an equity assessment, see if you can sell it. There's two main ways to sell a lease. You could have somebody assume it. You can go to a site like Shop a Lease, and if you have a good car payment, you could list the car there and somebody could take over it, but it must be a good car payment relative to the deal. If you're paying, if you overpaid per month, then you're going to have a hard time getting someone to take over the lease. But if not, you can get rid of it there. Second is, I want you to call the leasing company, ask for your payoff, and then you're going to call, once you get your payoff, I want you to ask them if you have a third-party restriction. Those are the two questions you're going to ask your leasing company. And then once you get that number, which is your payoff, you're going to go to CarMax.com, Driveway, Carvana. This will take you 20 minutes to do. Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer, Auto Nation, Sell My Car, and Car Guru, Sell My Car. You want to get 6 offers. It's very important when you're on those sites. When they ask you, is your car owned, leased, or financed, put owned. That's going to tell you what the market value cash is for your car to get rid of it in a day. If it's greater or equal to your payoff, you can get out of it. If you have a third-party restriction, then you're going to need to take another step and you're going to sell to a local dealer. But you got to see where your equity position is first. Got to see where your equity position is first. All right, I'm going on and I'm sharing the broadcast, and then Dolan, you can queue up the next question. We're live on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. So we are going to be taking questions from all platforms. The first one came from TikTok. We got a couple queued up on TikTok. So shoot the next one in, Dolan, and we'll get to it. All right, this is another one from TikTok. I have 2 payments left on my lease. What's my next step? Equity assessment. Who's returned a lease to a dealership, just dropped it off when it was done? You never assessed any equity. You didn't even know. Who didn't know that a lease could have equity that you could put in your pocket? It's not a guarantee, but many people all through the pandemic, we were showing them how to put $5,000, $10,000, $12,000 in equity in their pocket from the end of their lease. I sold my lease. End of my Jeep lease, I made $8,900. My mother made $10,200. Now that was when everything was worth 7 to 10 grand more than it's worth. That was when the market was once in a lifetime. But does not mean we will never return a lease without doing an equity assessment. If you've done it, I want you to raise your hand and say, you know what, I turned in my lease. If you ever just dropped it off, you can't do that again. You must know if you have equity, and you follow those steps that I just gave to Jasmine. I think that was Jasmine who asked the first question. That is what's called in my book, In my process, that's the equity assessment. That is what you do. Everything I'm teaching you guys is from my new digital book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. So every question you ask, when I answer it, it's going to be out of one of those 7 steps. And the equity assessment is step 2. You must do that before you ever return a lease for the rest of your life. A lot of you gave back thousands of dollars to dealerships and you didn't realize you were doing it. They bought those cars, put that money in their bank account when it should have been in yours. Yep. All right. Go ahead. Shoot the next one up, Dolan. All right. All right. This one's from TikTok as well. Let's go. Facebook, type your questions in. YouTube, type your questions in. Instagram, type them in so we can get to you guys. Another one from TikTok. Thinking of trading a car for a newer model. Should I keep the car and just get the new one? It's a good question. What's the benefit of keeping the car? If you were a high mileage driver, then I would tell, let's just say you said, Deshone, I'm driving 20,000 miles. Then high mileage drivers, I want you to type HM. If you do over 20,000 miles per year, even 18,000 miles per year, just type HM. Regular driver, Jason, what's the benefit of having 2 cars? It's own insurance. You're paying for one when you get your new car. I like to drive that car that I'm paying for. I don't want to be paying for a car and then I got this other car that I'm barely using. But if you are a high mileage driver, then I would tell you keep that car and get you another car. And but how many years are you keeping the car, Jason? How many years are you keeping this next car? Because depending on your answer, it's going to change my answer to you. So this car you're thinking about getting, how many years you see yourself keeping it? Let's start there. Come on and shout out to the sharers. I see y'all running the likes up on TikTok and y'all keep tapping that screen. Just every couple minutes, throw a couple taps. It really helps the broadcast. And I appreciate everybody who's helping us get this message out. I really do. We couldn't do this without you. Let's see if maybe 5 years, then you should not be buying that car, Jason. You should be leasing. And I'm going to break this down for you really quick because some of you know the depreciation curve. And the rule of thumb is when we talk about the hidden money in your car deals, my job is not to just teach you, if you're willing to listen, how to save thousands of dollars by making dealers and banks bid on your business. That's how we make sure we get the best prices. You can't get the best price. You can't make the best deal if you buy, but you should have leased. It's impossible. Because the depreciation curve looks like this, y'all. If you buy a car today for $30,000 today, I give you a car. I'm gonna show you something. I want everybody stay close to your keyboard. I don't want you to, when I ask you a question, type as quick as you can so we can keep the dialogue going. If I gave you a $30,000 car right now, put it outside your house, you don't drive it 1 mile, you don't even touch it. We go outside a year later. Is it worth $30,000? You didn't drive it 1 mile. You said, Deshone, I don't need the car, but I'm leaving it here. It's yours. You don't drive it 1 mile. Is it worth $30,000? No. So that's your first intro into depreciation, the unseen expense. Let's go a little deeper. If you put 10,000 miles on it, it's worth less, right? If you put no money in it, if you put no mileage on it, it's already lost thousands. If you put 10,000 miles on it, it's worth less, right? High mileage driver, let's say you put 20,000, it's worth less, right? Now what you're seeing is the expense you've been taught not to see, which is depreciation. It has nothing to do with car payments. It has everything to do with that. We've heard people say, oh, cars are depreciating asset, cars are depreciating. What does that actually mean? I'm showing you what that means. I'm showing you what that means. When you're buying something that goes down in value, you have to look at when it's going down, when is it losing its most value, and your goal should be to avoid replacing it while it's losing the most value. How many of you have a car outside right now, outside your house? You've had it for at least 8 or 9 years. Type the number of years you've had it. If it's more than 8, don't type 3, don't type 5. For those of you who have a vehicle outside right now and it's been in your home, in your household for at least 8 years, I want you to type the number of years. All right, we got Jason 10, we got 13, we got 8, we got 20, we got 14. Okay, so we got 10. This is the leasing versus buying question, and there's nothing more important than this to the foundation of your deal. Because if you choose wrong, you cannot get a great deal. And if you're new to this, then lock in for the next 5 minutes, and you're going to understand why. The people, those of you who said, Deshone, wow, Jazzy's 20 years. The vehicle, the value of your vehicle right now, isn't it going to be about the same a year from now? Everybody who just typed, look at the, and I want y'all to pay attention. If those of you who are like, Deshone, I never keep a car, you might be saying, looking at these numbers and saying, Deshone, I would never keep a car that long. It's not for me. It's not in the cards for me. It's not my style, not my habit, not interested. Perfect. Pay attention. 12, 20. So all of these people, your car will be worth next year about what it's worth right now. What does that mean? That means you have avoided the depreciation. You've won. The depreciation curve normally looks like this the first 5 to 7 years, but it starts to get like this the longer you keep the car. So now all of you who have answered, all of you who are watching them answer, their car depreciation curve looks like this now. It's not losing much value anymore. If you don't get to that level, there was no point in you buying the car because you're replacing it here. There's only 2 ways to go from to avoid this type of depreciation. Car was worth 30, now it's worth 10, 7 years later. It's only 2 ways to avoid that type of hit. One, you're going to keep it long term. If that's not you, you should be shopping for aggressive leases. Not these leases you see in the car, in the commercials, come pay $4,000 down and all of that. These are not deals. Aggressive leases are below market prices and they're pennies on the dollar compared to what you've been paying. You cannot win buying cars and switching them like this. That's why you always have negative equity. That's why you're always never happy with what you're getting for your car. You buy your car, you come back, look 3 years later, you see what it's worth. It's always disappointing because you're trying to literally get cash back out of something that is not designed to give you any value in the short term. Leasing or long-term ownership. That's why the first thing that that I teach, it's called the most important question, is how many years you keep in the car. If it's not 8, then you should be leasing. It's not even a question. We'll go deeper on that throughout the show. Anyone who wants to know more about that, you keep asking, because once I open up that Pandora's box, it's like your mind is like, oh, but everything I heard about leasing, I heard it was bad. I heard you can't drive that much. I heard that yada, yada. They bill you for all of this stuff. All of those things, I'm going to help you unlearn because unfortunately, the people who taught you that were confidently incorrect, which is dangerous. Confidently incorrect is you're dangerous to yourself and others. So, all right, so that's the key. If that's the key, Jason, don't think about buying if you're not keeping 8 years. You're going to overspend. And we'll talk more about that throughout the broadcast. Feel free to ask follow-up questions. Go ahead, shoot the next one, and I'll go as deep on that subject as we need to for you to understand it. It'll give you some lease comparisons. You'll see what great leases look like, and you'll see how there are pennies on the dollar when you know how to get great lease deals. And that's the way you avoid the depreciation. Only 2 ways. Great lease deals, long-term ownership, 8, 10, 15 years. That's it. 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you can't avoid the depreciation buying. You just can't. You're going to lose thousands every time. Go ahead, shoot the next one up, Dolan. We're keeping the questions coming in. We're live on all platforms, so just keep typing. I'm going to try to get through as many as I can. We got a lot of questions coming from TikTok. All right, let's go. Should I put money down on a lease that I'm about to turn in? That you're about to turn in. I'm gonna assume you meant, should I put money down on the lease that you're about to get? So check it out. Here's how you shop all your lease deals from now on. there's one thing that I never want you to say again. It's really two things, but in this subject, the other thing is trade. This is down payment. I want you to eliminate the words down payment from your vocabulary because it's been used as an opportunity to get more money out of you. Who's ever went in, thought you were making a car deal, you thought you were going to put maybe $1,500 down, and then somewhere down the lines, these hidden things come like, oh, well, you got the taxes and fees, and then you end up putting more down than you thought you were going to. Has anybody, that ever happened to anybody? Hit the raise your hand emoji or just type me if you've experienced that. You thought you were going to be putting this down. You might have gotten to the finance office to sign the paperwork, and now you got to come up with another 500 or 1,000 or the taxes or the fees or whatever it is, right? So I spent 14 years in the car business. For those of you who don't know me, I've seen the way we call them the 80%. 80% of people shouldn't be in the car business. They're overpriced. They'll sell their grandmother the highest price car. It doesn't matter. They have no integrity, very little morals. We don't buy from them. What you need is to learn to avoid them, and you also need to learn to find the 20% who beats them all the time. So when you shop your car leases, you are always going to shop. You're no longer going to say down payment. You're going to say this: total out of pocket. Total out of pocket. See, total out of pocket means that's what I'm giving you and no more than that. You'll see the difference. Down payment can be, that's my down payment, but what about my taxes and what about, so that gets convoluted. When you start using, hey, I'm only doing this total out of pocket, it's hard for them to switch it up, especially when you're adamantly aware of what that means. This is all the money that I'm putting out of my pocket. You could also say do it signing, but total out of pocket is probably more of a universal term. You shop your leases with 12,000 miles. Now, who was taught they limit you on the lease miles? Who was taught they only give you 10,000 miles? Because this question from TikTok, the person's asking, should I put money down on a lease? So I want to tell you how you always want to shop your car deals with no money down. That's what's confusing you. What's confusing you is when they mix the down payment and start throwing monthly payments, you are now not aware of what you're truly paying for the car, what you're truly getting. And so this is why you use what I'm telling you, you shop my way. You're never going to shop with down payments. That doesn't mean we don't put down payments down, but we do not get offers and we're not out there shopping with down payment money. Okay? So, all right, I see it's happening to you, Fouché. So you're going to get your offers with first month's payment, total out of pocket, taxes and fees in the payment, 12,000 miles per year. Once you do that, I teach in my book, I have a new digital book. It's called Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. I teach a strategy called the 25 to 5. We're going to connect with 25 dealers. We're going to get 5 offers. We do not make a decision without at least 5 offers. Because once you see, thanks to everybody who's supporting the broadcast with the gifts, I appreciate that. Once you see how different the offers are, you're going to realize you're going to see how much money is in multiple offers. You must get 5 offers because 80% are overpriced. Don't try to change these people. Don't question, oh, listen, why are dealers like this? Why are the 80% overpriced? Listen, Jim Rohn used to say, don't sign up for that battle. Why does the sun come up in the east, and, in the east and set in the west? Like, don't sign up for that. Some questions are not worth asking because they mean nothing. Just know that's what it is. 80% are going to be overpriced. This is why you are not going to get your best deal walking into a dealer anymore. You're going to sit at home. You're going to decide what you want. We call that shopping, not buying. This is step 4 of my process. We have 7 steps. Step 4 is shopping. And then once you decide what you want, you're getting it from home. 90 to 100% of your new car transaction and your leases should be done from home. That's where your power is. That's where you have the power of leverage. That's where you have the power to make multiple people compete for your business, which saves you thousands of dollars. I'm going to give you tons of examples. This works every time. How do we know? It's the way we buy everything else. Everything we buy in life, we go into the grocery store, we need spaghetti sauce. You need laundry detergent. It's a bid. You may not be aware, but I'm going to make you aware. Everyone is bidding for your business. Hey, look over here, Prego. Hey, this brand, Classico. Hey, we're on sale this week. Hey, we have the best. Y'all see what I'm talking about? Everything that we buy, especially expensive items, but even low price items, companies are competing, except in car dealers. They've trained you. They've trained me. If I wasn't in the business for years, I wouldn't know, to focus on one place and think we all have the same pricing. They made you think Nissan, we're a Nissan dealer, we're all the same price. So you might as well not even go anywhere else because we're all the same price. No, we're not. No, they're not. So when you start shopping multiple offers, you can do it by phone. I like to use email. I like to do everything copy and paste by email. But when you start getting multiple offers, you're going to truly see where all the hidden money has been, and you'll see how many of these dealers are overpriced, which is going to just make you say, from now on, I'm definitely shopping online. So but you need to do it correctly. There's some information you must give a dealer in order to get quotes online. And most of you don't know that. That's why you're having problems getting quotes, because you're not giving the dealer what they need to get quotes. So we'll go deeper on this throughout the show. But this is what we're talking about, y'all. This is all in my book. In my book, you have the 7 steps laid out. You could cue the next question up, Dolan. And for our launch, you can get it for 75% off. The book's normally $97, but for our welcome offer, our launch, I said, you know what? We're going to do 75% off for 30 minutes. So when you go to my TikTok bio, you click that link. There's a button that says, get my new book, 75% off. You get yours. You won't pay the normal $97, but it's only for 30 minutes. Once that timer goes down, you go back up to 97. Same thing on Instagram. It's in my Instagram bio. And then we're going to put the link here for you guys here on Facebook and YouTube. All right, go ahead. This one's from Instagram. If I'm keeping a car under 8 years, I like y'all using this 8-year rule language. I like that. I like what I'm seeing, y'all. Y'all really this is really absorbing. If I'm keeping a car under 8 years and will definitely go over the miles, how do I lease cost effectively? You choose the right miles. You never. I was at Hyundai. And I experienced most of what I'm teaching, I learned through being in the dealerships and just watching, paying attention, asking questions, seeing bad situations, and then asking questions to make sure I could help people avoid them. I was at Hyundai. I was a manager for 6 weeks there. And this guy came in and he was returning a high mileage Hyundai lease. It was the first one that I had really saw that I could remember. He brought it back. It had 70-something thousand miles on it. And I was just like fascinated. I said, you lease this? He said, yeah. All I do is lease. He said, man, I'm in sales. I used to buy these cars. You know, I was putting so much money in the cars, all this negative equity. And it was just like, I hated it. He said, once I got exposed to the high mileage lease, I never looked back. I drive this thing 20-something thousand miles a year, 3 years, I drop it off, I get another one. And so I said, okay. Because I had also experienced high mileage people coming back with lots of miles, but a lot of negative equity with it. Hey, Deshone, I'm looking to change this thing. How many miles you got on it? I got, 180. It's all highway. And then you look at what you owe, high mileage drivers. And I'm like, God, man, it's going to be hard because you got all this negative equity. So once he exposed me to that, I looked at his payment and I said, man, he's only paying a couple dollars more, $150, $200 more per month to have all the mileage. That $150, $200 a month is a lot less than the depreciation hit that he's taking. Again, going back to the unseen expense. We already said, we park a car outside your driveway tonight, it's 30 grand. Next, I asked everybody on here, is it worth 30,000 tomorrow, a year from now? If you don't drive it, everyone unanimously said, no, it's not. So even without mileage, it goes down. When you do regular mileage, it goes down more. Somebody doing 25,000, this is how you're destroying the value of your car. But at the same time, the loan is still staying high. So once I saw that you could avoid that with a high mileage lease, that became part of one of the strategies that I teach for high mileage drivers. This is only if you're short term. Pay attention to what Maddie's question said. If I'm not keeping it 8 years. If he was, there's plenty of cars that you can keep 8 years and just put a ton of miles on it. You're not worried about trading them or selling them because we don't trade. You're just going to get the maximum value out of it. In his case, he knows he's not keeping it 8 years. How are we avoiding the short-term depreciation? You do that with a high mileage lease. Second strategy, Matt, this is also in my book. I have 2 strategies for short-term high mileage drivers. That's one way. Shop for your lease, 12,000 miles a year, identify the best bid, and then once you identify the best bid out of 5, you have them adjusted to a high mileage lease. Second is you buy your car, or if you have a car now, you keep that car, pay that car off, and now you're going to go lease your nice car, and that's going to be your second car. I call that 2 cars, 1 payment in my book. That's what it's called. And now you have, because some people say, Deshone, you know what? I want a nice car. I drive a lot for work, but man, I want to get me something nice, but I don't want to just be destroying it. And this strategy becomes perfect for them. This guy who's doing the high mileage lease with Hyundai, that's not a nice car. Especially once it gets up to 60, 70,000, it's not so some people are like, you know what? I want a nice car. I'll have my mileage car. I'll do, half the mileage on that. And then I'll go and lease me something and I'll do half the mileage on that. And so it's a beautiful thing. You got your nice, beautiful car and you got your mileage car and you split it, payments affordable, and you're not dealing with all this negative equity like you've been used to dealing with as a high mileage driver. High mileage drivers are getting killed with some of the worst because you guys are just killing the value of your cars. You use either one of those, you're going to love it. Both in my book. So if you want that step by step, it's in there. Some of you are like, Deshone, this is great. I don't want to try to remember all of this. In my book, it's right there for you, laid out step by step. You can get it for 75% off in my TikTok bio or my Instagram bio, or just scan the QR code on the screen, or go to deshonesbook.com. Either way, get you 75% off. Okay, shoot the next one up. That was a great question, man. Shoot the next one up. Let's get through as many as we can. This one's from Instagram. Would you recommend leasing business vehicles? Well, that's a question for your accountant. Whoever is going to be helping you benefit from having vehicles in your business name, that's the person you should be asking, which is most likely your accountant, whoever does your taxes. Here's what I can tell you, and I'll keep this very quick. Many people are putting cars in their business name with no business, or no business that requires a car. Be very careful. There's 2 parts to this. One, whoever's going to teach you to put cars in your business name from a business strategy standpoint, that's who you need to learn from. Second is you can use what we teach to save money on the cars, because what I see these people, influencers, social media people paying for these cars, they'll never tell you what they're paying. And they go and they re-up their cars like crazy because they need it for their brand. The money they are losing, most people can't afford to lose. But unfortunately, they're desperate. But get the strategies, get the structure. I used to have people all the time ask me, Deshone, do you teach Toro and all of these, I said, look, I don't, but you need 2 people. You need me, because I'm going to teach you how to buy the inventory at below market prices. You need the business person who's going to teach you how to legitimately do the business, inventory and all of that. Those are the 2 people that you need. And without both of them, you got some incomplete counsel. But be careful listening to these people, man. If you don't have a business and you wrote off thousands of dollars in business mileage or thousands of dollars in car payments and maintenance, I don't want to be around you when you get audited. And the sad part is those people who told you this won't be around when you get audited, and you can't support that. Just be very careful we don't want a second wave of the PPP. You get a lot. Okay, that's it. We're not gonna beat a dead horse. Go ahead. Next question, Dolan. I think y'all get the point. Some videos were the worst videos to go viral. Did so much damage, still doing damage. Okay, TikTok. This one's from TikTok. Facebook, YouTube. Keep typing. We're not seeing many questions from you today. Do you recommend leasing over purchasing? So you missed what we talked about. I recommend you go back, watch the begin. See, there is no leasing or purchase. There is no either or. It's a based on how many years I'm keeping the car, I should be leasing. You can't, there is no either or. When you lease, you are not keeping your car and you are avoiding short-term depreciation, paying pennies on the dollar for brand new cars. That's not going and paying what they have advertised or walking in a dealership and say, hey, work me up a lease deal. That is not what I'm talking about. When you add up the payments from doing that, you're going to see you overpaid. You probably broke the 1.5% rule and you paid too much for a car you're giving back in 3 years. What I'm talking about is aggressive lease deals. Look at this. Give you an example. I'll give you an example right here. So, and this one, I love to use her because she was in the middle of the pandemic. Middle of the pandemic, people were out here buying Kia Tellurides for just $5,000, $10,000 over sticker. Bonita got hers in 2020. She got a 2023 Kia Telluride, put $600 down, and that was her car payment every month for 3 years, $600 on a almost $47,000 Telluride. Why is this so important? Some of you know, you may have seen the video, how much is every $5,000 in a car purchase price? How much is that per month on a loan? Every $5,000 is how much per month. So we're going to compare Bonita's incredible lease deal she got to someone who bought this same vehicle to show you that if you should have bought, but you lease, if you should have leased, but you bought, there's no way to win. It's over. $100. Good job. So that's clicking in. Ronald, great. $100. So whenever you look at a car, you look at a $10,000 car, your mind should automatically say that's $200 a month. 5-year loan. $20,000 car, $400 a month. 5-year loan. $45,000 car, which is about what Bonita got, that's a $900 car payment. So there's people driving this car. We're not even taking into account the taxes and anything like that. That'll put it up probably about 40. Actually, that'd be put it about 50. For her truck was 46, taxes and fees, call it 50. It's about $1,000 car payment for 5 years. She's paying $600. This is why there's no comparison. And sometimes your mind may play tricks on you. Yeah, but it's more than that. Is it? If you and I both drive out the same lot, same exact vehicle, you're paying, we're not putting any money into the deal. See, I want to make sure I keep you on track when you're not, neither one of them are putting any money into the deal. They're literally just going in, no down payment. All right, what's my deal look like? $600 a month, great lease. $1,000 a month, 5-year loan, no money down. So when we leave it the same, if I'm paying $1,000 and you're paying $600, is there any question of whether you're winning right now financially? Same vehicle. So as we drive, the only way you can eventually win, or I could eventually win if I bought, yeah, I'm paying $1,000, but I'm going to keep this vehicle long enough. So in 10 years, my Telluride is going to maybe worth $9,000. I kept it 10 years. It's worth $9,000 out there, but it's not losing value anymore. It's been in my household and I was able to outlive the depreciation. So now I win. Doesn't mean you lose. See, it's not like, oh, well, you lost, you should have bought. No, Bonita knows I'm not keeping 10 years. I'm not keeping 8 years. That's not my goal. Therefore, I'm going to shop for great lease deals and I'm going to pay pennies on the dollar compared to people buying. And that's my win. So there is no should I buy or should I lease? Do you recommend leasing over purchasing? I recommend leasing when you should be leasing, which means you're not keeping your car 8 years. I recommend buying when you should be buying, meaning you're keeping your cars 8 years. You're going to outlive depreciation, pay it off, and have a car that is not losing value in your driveway in 8, 9, 10 years. That's when both people win. And if you're stuck in the middle, then what I recommend is you get out of stuck in the middle because you're losing tons of money. Get out of being stuck. Buying leases out, buying loans, straighten them in. Get to one, choose a side. I put 2 good sides in front of you. Choose a side. All right? Good question, though. Go ahead, Dolan, cue the next one up.
This was good, man.
Wait, let me make sure. I'm trying to make sure I'm sharing all of this. Shout out to the sharers. Everybody getting value out of this? Type $signs if you're getting value out of the show. This is what we do. All right, go ahead, shoot it up. All right, a lot of questions from TikTok today. YouTube, y'all, come on, type the question. All right, good to see you, Melody. I see. All right, when is it a good time to buy a car? Sashi, there's no good time. There's no bad time. Dealers have to make deals. See, I want you to not believe the marketing. What I want you to also do is I want you to pay attention when we do these shows. Pay attention to I don't want you shopping in an emergency situation unless it's an emergency. What does that mean? If your car was totaled, stolen, then it's an emergency. You got a couple days, no problem. You can use what's in my book. You can get bids. As long as you get multiple offers, you won't overpay. If you have your back against the wall, that's going to happen every now and then. Multiple offers is the key. If anybody had to go buy a TV right now, I said, look, you got 48 hours, you got to get a 100-inch TV, and you got to get a great deal on it. Is anybody worried about overpaying for the TV? Anybody on here? In 2024, is anybody worried? Dad, man, I only got, back in the days, it might have been like, oh, shoot, 48 hours. That might not be long enough. But you know where to go. Amazon.com, BestBuy.com, Walmart. I'm going to find the best deal on a TV. What I'm telling you is that's the same way you approach car buying. The more you do it the way you shop for everything else, the more you're going to see, oh, this is a lot easier. I'm in a lot more control. I eliminate buyer's remorse. So so even if your back is against the wall, if you're shopping, buying, you still should be getting multiple offers to make sure you're getting the lowest in the market. I'd say at least 5 because 80% are overpriced. Now, if you have time, then what you should be is in the market early. I teach something called 2 dates. The as soon as date, no later than date. As soon as date means soon as you can make a deal. Don't look at offers until you can make a deal. Don't entertain it's a waste of time. You might say, Deshone, I'm waiting to get this promotion at work in May. Then I'm a car shop. Should I look at deals now? Makes no sense. You can watch the market, but it makes no sense to entertain offers because you're not in a position. So as soon as you could accept an offer. Now that might be today. Then no later than date. That's the deadline. The gap in between that is your leverage. What does that mean? The ability to say no. See, you're about to start shopping in a way where you can say no, and the people that are walking into dealerships usually have put themselves in a position where they can't say no. So they're walking in saying things like, I need a car right now. My lease is up. If your lease is up, call, get a free extension. You shouldn't be shopping with your back against the wall. They're walking in saying things like, man, nobody has cars. That's because one dealer they walked in didn't have cars. Maybe they went to a second one, didn't have the color they want, and they're like, man, nobody has cars. They're broadcasting that energy, which is actually that's going to cost you. When car salesmen take it from me, I was in there every day of my life for 14 years. Not every day, we had days off, but when you say things, we're trained to hear them. No one has cars. That means the price just went up. If I have a car, you're going to pay more for it. This is what the 80%, this is how the 80% think. It's a mind game. So you don't want to be there. You want to be at home. And when you have the ability to say no, now here's what you do. You reach out to dealers for your offers and you're telling them, hey, I can make a deal right now. This is what I'm looking for. But I don't need a car until July 3rd. See, that's power. That means, hey, if I got a car coming next month, I can talk to this person about it. Most times a person walks in, they need a car this week, next week. That means whatever's on the ground, that's all we can talk to you about. But when a person has been proactive in shopping, which is what I want you to do, which is what I'm going to teach you to do, it's all in my book, and it's everything you'll hear me talk about, is when you have the luxury of time, it benefits us. We make our contacts. A dealer might say, look, I don't have a car right now, but I got one coming in 6 weeks. Is that good for you? Yeah, give me an offer. Absolutely. Now, we don't talk. So I'm telling you, you could do it your way, which is call. I always say, ask for sales managers if you're trying to get offers online. If you're trying to get offers from home, we need at least 5. If you're going to do it my way, if you're going to get deals like Danielle and like the people you see me broadcasting the show, you get it at least 5. Sometimes we get 10. I think somebody we showed the other day had 10 offers. So the point is, if you have the luxury of time, you want to use it. Don't be sitting here saying, man, I really can make a deal now or 3 months, but no one knows that. And then you wait until you only need to make a deal in a month. Now you start contacting dealers. You've given away some of your leverage. And if you're shopping for a used car, you can watch the market. When you start looking and you can see, man, I've been watching these cars for 45 days. I see the prices. When I first came, the low side of the market was like 26. Now I see that low side is about 24, 25. So these are things you can't do when you're shopping when you need a car. So there's no good time to buy a car because dealers want to make deals throughout the month. But there is a bad time if you've used up all your leverage. And if you've used up all your time, then you must do multiple offers or you're going to get killed. Sorry to say, there's no other way to say it. If you don't know how to shop multiple offers and you walk in needing a car in 2 days, you are going to overpay. So multiple offers is always the answer. All right. Go ahead, shoot the next one up, Dolan. Great question. This one's from YouTube. I'm only able to get a rental for delivery work. Is there any cons to this method? I don't really, okay, I think you rephrased it. Is there a proper way to rent vehicles for work, or is it fixed market and there's no way to save money? Absolutely not. Renting is going to be way too expensive compared to, this is why when people say, who's heard leasing is like renting? Who's heard that? Type the raise your hand emoji or type me if you've heard leasing is like renting. It's one of the most ignorant statements that there's a lot of ignorant statements made about leasing, but that's one of them. Renting is expensive. Renting, you don't get a lot for your money. It's usually a short-term thing, 1 day, 1 week. You know, maybe if you had an accident, cars total 30 days. It's not meant to be long-term. So what I would tell you is if you were renting a vehicle, I would tell you try to go on Turo, try to find somebody who's willing to rent to you, possibly on a long-term basis where it's not going to be as expensive. Because I'm guessing if you're renting, there's a particular reason for that. But the money you're going to pay in renting, you should probably put some of it to the side, try to get you a car, cash, Facebook Marketplace, something to get out of that cycle and start to rebuild. In my book, I have a strategy of plan B, plan C for bad credit, where, you know, you can talk about cash, you can talk about buy here, pay here, even buy here, pay here, if done right, is better than renting. When I was 20, my second car, actually, my first one was a $500 car. And after I got a buy here, pay here Chevrolet Cavalier. It was, I put $1,500 down. I paid $50, I think, a week. And I paid off the car in a couple months. That car lasted me 6 years. So the key with buy here, pay here is to make sure you're getting a great car, a quality car, but renting, that if I had to rent a car and I'm in a position, I would try to find somebody on Turo, the lowest price per day, and then see, hey, if I did a long-term per month rental, how much would you give it to me for? I try to work that out, see how that works. All right. God bless with that. All right. Next question, Dolan. Shoot it up. We're getting a lot of questions, so I'm going to try to move faster through the answers. This one's Facebook. Once you have the car you've decided on, how do you go about getting multiple offers from dealers? Well, you could do it the manual way, which is I would see the only bad thing. See, and here's the thing. You guys know if you've been on, if this isn't your first time, if you've seen, you know I don't hold back. But I can't teach you scripts that I've written specifically so you don't have to talk. There's tons of scripts that I have in my book that you're copying and pasting from email, because when you're trying to get quotes online, you're dealing with trained people. And unfortunately, those trained salespeople are dealing with untrained customers that are not giving them what they need, not giving them the information. So 9 times out of 10, they assume anyone online doesn't really know how to shop online. they're defensive and they're not even going to give me what I need to make them an offer. That's why I keep trying to get them to come in. So when we do our copy and paste, we're giving them what we need. And that's the only reason I say I can't explain that to you. The only way to use that, like, all right, there's scripts for everything. There's 3 levels of contact when we're contacting online. This is my 25-to-5 strategy. You're using this for new cars and leases, not used cars. Different strategy for used cars. New cars and leases, you're using my 25-to-5 in the book. And what that is 3 contacts. First, we got to let the dealers know what we want. We contact 25 dealers online with a copy and paste template, tell them what we want. We need to tell them what we want. We need to tell them what our deadline is as soon as we can buy a car, which would be today, because we don't contact if we can't buy today, and then our deadline. And now you're going to have responses. Hey, when can you come in? Hey, when can I? Hey, when can we have a phone call? Hey, whatever. So because I used those scripts, I was able to write responses. I had to use those same scripts. Hey, Mrs. James, thanks for the inquiry. Hey, when we have I'd love to help you with this. I have a car. What would be better for you for us to talk? 1 p.m. or 4 this evening? I had to use those scripts. So I was able to write the responses to them. So we copy and paste. Now, the key is whether you're doing it that way or whether you're calling, the first key is, do you even have a vehicle I'm interested in that matches what I want? So in that initial contact, we're telling them exactly what we want. Color choices. Hey, I'm open to black, blue, gray. I'm open to a sport model or a touring model. I'm open to this. Like, this is what I like. You have to tell them that, or there's no way for them to search the inventory and get you and even see if there's a match here. So once we do that, that's your first thing. Do you have a car? Now, the benefit of doing the 25-to-5 is we're shopping out of 25 dealers' inventories. So we're giving ourselves the absolute best shot of finding something where we don't really deal with, oh, I went to this dealer, they didn't have a color I want, they didn't have the trim I want. If we contact 25 dealers and there's no inventory, that means they're either in between model years, which means, okay, maybe the 24s got sold out, 25s haven't come in yet, we're on that bridge, or it's a rare car, hasn't come in yet, or it's a very rare car. See, that's different than you believing the car is rare because you visited 1 or 2 dealers. Once we contact 25, if the color, we're reaching out for a pink one and the dealer is saying, hey, we don't really have that color, that's when we know. So shopping out of 25 dealers, we get the best shot. We're trying to find who has a car. Second thing we're going to do now is we need to send a quote request. When we send our quote request, we're telling them what we want. If we're buying, we're looking for all cash price because we're not doing taxes. We want a bottom line price. And we're getting that from at least 5 to 7 dealers. Because when you shop correctly, remember this, when you truly have shopped multiple offers correctly, you're going to see at least a $3,000 to $5,000 difference from your lowest offer to your best offer. I've been working with people around the country. We're 2 million followers. We have 1,700 people we've worked with personally since 2021. That is the consensus. 3,000 to 5,000 bare minimum. And in fact, some of you who are looking for higher price cars, you look at somebody like Kimberly. Kimberly used multiple offers. Her Maserati she was shopping for, she picked it up a little while ago, $86,961 vehicle. They offered it to her for $66,261. Deshone, that sounds crazy. She saved 20 grand. Actually, 20,700 on that offer. So now you never can pick. You don't know where the bottom is. She didn't go in saying, if I can't save 20 grand, I'm not getting it. That's not how we go in. We go in, we do multiple offers, and we let the bottom reveal itself. We don't choose the bottom. All right. So once we do that, we're getting our quotes, and there's going to be a lot of people who try to stop that. Hey, we only do business in person. When can you come in? So you need scripts to respond to all that if you're going to do it fast and shop like we shop, 60 minutes, 90 minutes. But if you're going to do it manually, then you can call sales. You can ask for sales managers and try to get them that way. But do not make a decision before you see at least 5 offers. 5 to 7 offers. Nobody who's listening to me will ever buy a car without seeing 5 to 7 offers, new cars and leases. Never. Too much money at stake. All right. So that's how we do it, Damon. That's the intro. And that's the only reason why I can't go deep on my 25 to 5, because it's totally internet based. We do it 60 minutes. So everyone who's like, Deshone, I want to use that. It's in my new digital book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping. You can download it in my TikTok bio. You get it for 75% off as part of our launch. And it'll be in your inbox in 5 minutes. Same thing with Instagram. Go to my Instagram bio. You got 30 minutes before it goes back up to $97. Get your 75% off. And I'll post a link. Cue the next question up, Dolan. I'll post a link again for you guys here on YouTube and Facebook. Here's the emergency link. All right. This one's from Facebook. We got another question from Facebook. Hey, I'm in the USA, originally from Canada, and no credit in the USA as yet. Should I buy a used car with cash or a new one? What I'm afraid they'll give me a high rate. What do you think best option? Hey, if you got the ability to buy a used car cash, that's what I do. I'd get a great car, spend as little as possible on it, Facebook Marketplace, because I'm not looking, if I can, to go into a high interest loan when I can get me a car and then I can build my credit. I want you to follow Haley, somebody named Shonda Martin. Her brand is called Road to 750 Plus. She's very similar to me in that she does these Q&As all the time. She's live. She's a genius. She's clearly studied for many, many years to understand. And even me using her thing, her strategies, I've added at least 80 points to my credit just from things I didn't even know. Like, and the real person who's an expert is going to show you where the blind spots are, things you didn't know. And that's what Shonda is. Some of you may follow her. She's amazing. Yeah, Cavante said, yeah, she's amazing. She is. So follow her. But yeah, I would be looking to get something inexpensive, point A to point B, little as possible. Make sure you find wherever you live, ask around who's the best mechanic in town. Ask like who does everybody know in town that, you know, fixes cars, just a good guy, good woman. And you find them and you say, look, I'm about to go pick up a car. I'm gonna buy it privately. Well, can I pay you, $100 to inspect it for me? Get yourself an inexpensive car, and that'll give you the ability to be on the road. At the same time, you have the ability to have the time to invest in your credit. So when you're ready to make a power move where credit's concerned with a car, be it leasing, financing, you're good. All right. But if you go buy a car overpriced interest rate, it could really set you back. It can really set you back. It's happened to too many people. Great question. Cue the next one up, Dolan. Great questions today. YouTube, should I buy a car cash or do I get a loan? It's a great question here. A lot of great questions. This is a matter of, look, nothing that I teach is really one size fits all. That's been the problem. 8-year rule, absolutely. If you're not keeping 8 years, that is one size fits all. That's why it's called a rule. You should be leasing if you're not keeping your cars 8 years. If you're buying, you should be keeping them more than 8 years. But when it comes to the cash or loan, here's what I've experienced. And the people who pay cash or don't pay cash, this is kind of what weighs it for them. What are they doing with, what are you doing with your money? Is your money making you money? If your money is making you money, I would have people come in the dealership, clearly had the ability to pay cash, because I would ask them, so how are you paying for the car? And they say, I'm thinking about, writing a check for it, but what are the rates? And if we had a special interest rate from the bank, like 0% or 0.99%, 1.99, 2.99 even, they'd usually take the bank's money so that their money could keep making money for them. So if that's you, and the rates are low, that's why whenever we shop for a car, you always want to check, are there any special interest rates? That's the first thing. I teach something called the bank bidding war. It's not just dealers that bid for our business. It's banks and credit unions too. So in the bank bidding war, there's 3 rounds. The first round, though, is checking if there's any special interest rates, because if there is 0.99 or 1.99, no one's beating that. Therefore, the rest of the rounds are non-applicable. So if you can use the money cheap, that's when you use the money and you let your money keep working. Now, another person, a different person, Deshone, I'm not really investing my money. You know what? I just kind of like to keep things to a minimum. I got my cash over here. Okay, then. I would still, if the money was cheap, consider it, because we could be coming into days where cash on hand becomes a little bit more important. But it's really about the cost of the money. If rates are high, 6, 7, 8%, 9%, 10%, then you want to put as much down on these cars as possible. If you're buying them, you want to put, you want to pay them off if you can, because the money is expensive. So it really depends on the cost of money. People, when the cost of money is cheap, they benefit from that, and I would think that those principles will work for anybody, and that's, you pick and choose which one of those situations fits you. But if you check the special interest rates, that usually puts it to bed. You see 0.99, it ain't no reason. Why would the bank's basically giving you free money to use. You can keep your cash on hand and still get the car. So I know some people don't believe in that. They don't believe in interest, but here's the thing. There's something called opportunity cost. Interest is not the only loss. When you're talking financially, opportunity cost is important. When you put 30 grand in a car and it gets you, we already talked about this. Cue up the next question, Dolan. Depreciation curve. When we start talking about financially making decisions, a lot of people see, if I put 30 grand cash into this car, what is my cash worth in 6 years? $30,000 car, what is it worth in 6, 7 years, y'all? 12, 10. So what's the return on that cash? It's not even positive. It's not even neutral. It's negative. So these are all the things that it's like, okay, you go over that, what I just said over the last 6, 7 minutes, and you choose what makes sense for you. But I'm never going to give you one size fits all formulas. That's what has failed you. Always do this. That's what has failed you. Go ahead. All right, this one's from TikTok. What's the best way to purchase a car once lease is over? Why would you want to? All you're doing. All right. Let's talk about buying our lease out. And I'm going to keep this quick because some of you know that I'm adamantly against this unless you're keeping the car 8 years. Because sometimes we look at our leases, right? And we say, oh, it's, should I buy my lease out? Here's the question. Should you lease again or should you buy a used car? When you are buying your lease out, all you are doing is buying a used car. That's it. When you look at it that way, it's going to become more clear to you. It's your car. You don't have to go search for it. You do need to make sure it's a great price relative to the market, but that's all you're doing, buying a used car. So the question becomes, should I buy a used car or should I lease? And when you realize that the 8-year rule, breaking it, is going to continue to lose you money and put you in negative equity, you won't buy your leases because you don't plan to keep them again for another 8 years. I'm going to tell you how I found this out to be horrible. Guy walks in the dealership. I'm looking at the car that he has. He says, okay, I'm looking to trade this in and get me something new. So, okay, how many years old is that? About 5 years. Okay, cool. How long you had it? I had it since it was new. Okay. All right, you know how much you owe on it? Nah, I don't know. Now, that's not a good sign, because if a person tells you they've had a car for 5 years, and they've had it since it was new, wouldn't you think it was almost paid off or paid off, right? If that makes sense, type of dollar sign. If a person said, you saw me, like, yeah, I had that car 5 years. I bought it. I've had it since it was new. Shouldn't it be almost paid off or either paid off, right? So when he said, I don't really know what I owe, I was like, okay, no problem. We'll call the bank. We'll find out. All right. So I have the used car manager look at his because everyone who's in this position, I'm going to tell them about leasing. So I'm looking forward to that, because once I tell them about leasing and I show them the numbers and like, hey, you keep trading these cars, look how much you're going to save. And some people will come in and their car was paid off. And I'm like, good thing is whatever that car is worth, you're going to get all that back. You're not putting it into your deal and using most of it as a down payment. So I've literally changed people from financing or buying to a lease, giving them a check back for their whole car that they was coming to use as a trade, and they get a check for $12,000, and then they leave with a lease with no money down or little down, and they're like, yo, this is great. So I'm thinking I'm about to lay this out for him. And so used car manager goes, looks at his car, may say like, okay, I think the car's probably worth about 18. Okay, perfect. So let me call the bank, find out what he owes. Hey, how are you? I'm calling for Mr. Johnson here. Yeah, he's interested in replacing his car. We need his payoff. Okay, the payoff is 18,000. Wait a minute. How the heck is the payoff 18,000? Hey, Mr. Johnson, they're saying you still owe 18,000. Dang, it's that much? Yeah, I didn't know it was that much. Wait, I thought you said you had the car since it was new. Yeah, I did. You know what happened? We leased it for 3 years, and then we had bought it when we bought it after the lease. That's how I learned how bad this was. So I'm like, okay, because when you buy your car off lease, most people, you're going to need a 6-year loan to have a similar payment. So if your payment was $400 and you buy the lease, you're typically going to need a 6-year loan to have around the same payment, right? So picture this, 3 years to lease it, then you get a 6-year loan. 6 plus 9 is what? 6 plus 3 is 9. Anybody on here signing up for a 9-year loan on a car? Anybody? We got a lot of people on here. Anybody on here signing up for a 9-year loan? No? Okay. Room's quiet. So we've never signed up for a 9-year loan. Look, she said, heck no. Right. We never signed up for a 9-year loan, 9 years of payments on the same car. Yet when we buy our leases, this is what's happening. So you look and say, all right, you bought your lease, you put 6-year loan, so you leased it for 3, then you paid it for another 2, that's 5. Now you're tired of it. Yo, man, I've been in this car, let me go trade it. Problem is, you still have 4 years left of payments. That's why buying the lease is horrible. One situation where it makes sense, if you're keeping it 8 years. That's it. If you're going to keep it another 8 years from the day you buy it, then potentially go ahead. Because all it is again, buying a used car. If you said to Sean, should I buy a used car or lease? How many years you keeping it? I'm keeping 8, 9. Buy the used car. Don't lease. So preaching the truth. Thank you, Kevin. I'm glad, man. And hopefully these stories will stick in your head. So when you encounter these situations, you know, when someone says to you, hell, man, I'm thinking about buying a lease, you'll never forget the story. So this has nothing to do with getting the best deals. This has everything to do with having the best deal structure. So I'm glad that clicked. Go ahead, shoot the next one up, Dolan. Oh, I see we already been on for. All right. We'll do a couple more. I'm trying to get through them as quick as possible. Y'all, if y'all like Deshone, I love to know everything you teach of how you shop for cars. Everything I teach is in a step-by-step way. In my digital book, Car Shopping for People That Hate Car Shopping, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. Everything we do is a bid. We're buying cars and leasing cars in 90 minutes, 60 minutes. When you get good, you'll be able to do this in like 45, 60 minutes. You never spend more than 30 minutes in a car dealership. You're at home. You're the prize. You're getting bids. You're no longer negotiating one-to-one where you're in a losing position. When you're getting bids, you're in the winner's position. So you can get your book for 75% off as part of our launch. So we want to do 75% off. It's normally $97. In my TikTok bio, you can grab yours. It'll be in your inbox. And some people say, before I get to this next question, Deshone, is it in print? There's a lot of reasons when you use it, you'll see there's no way this book could have been printed. One, things change. Vroom was one of the companies that we used to use for bidding. Vroom's out of business. if we had 100,000 books out there in your houses that you all paid for, now it's like, okay, what do we do, y'all? That's obsolete. Now that's when you hear people say, hey, you need volume 2. I know just 6 months ago that I asked you and told you that I was going to solve your problem with volume 1, but that's no good anymore. Volume 2, get it today. We're not doing that. And there's nothing against them because, again, they did what works, but we didn't want to do that. I wanted to be able to update this book on the fly. What I did when Broom went out, I updated the file. Everyone's book was updated. And there's also links in there. There's links to videos. Like I said earlier, you have my scripts in there. That was all stuff. You're going to be copy and pasting this. There's no way I could have did that in a physical book at all. All right. What do you think of swap a lease? If you can get a great lease deal, absolutely. Absolutely. We always compare, divide the monthly payment into the MSRP. The 1% rule has existed way before I started, way before I even got in the car business. The 1% rule said if you can lease a car for less than, for 1% of the MSRP, no money down, no money out of pocket, just, covering the first month's payment, you stole a car. Coincidentally, every lease I've ever had was under 1%. I paid $330 a month for my $35,000 Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo. I paid $325 a month for my Infinities, then $345. Then my highest one was $390. And that was a $45,000 vehicle. So these are under 1% leases. In order to get 1% leases, you need to shop multiple offers, but you also need a great lease program. So what we always say is under 1% is a steal. You'll see there's 3 categories of leases. Steals, great value. Those are under 1%. Great deals. Those are between 1% and 1.5%. And then where it's time to chill, over 1.5%. You're paying too much for a car you're giving back. So if I was taking over someone's lease, I'm judging it by the same thing. Leasing is a value play. How much car can I drive for that payment? It's the ultimate way. The lower that percentage is, the more you've leveraged your money into a great car. So yeah, I'll check swap a lease, definitely. Go ahead, shoot the next one up, Dolan. This one's from TikTok. Can I sell a leased car? Who didn't know you could sell a leased car? Type me. My cousin left me his 2020 Toyota Highlander with 2,000 miles, so I need to get out of my lease. I don't need 2 cars. Okay. Equity assessment. Call the leasing. Matter of fact, I'm not going to repeat it because I already talked about this at the beginning of the broadcast. So after the broadcast, go to the YouTube page. You'll see it. I think it was either the first or second question. So within the first 10 minutes, I talked about how to do the equity assessment. You're going to follow that process. And this is all in my book. If you're like, Deshone, I don't even want to watch the video. Is that in the book? Absolutely. Because everything I'm teaching you is out of 1 step in my 7-step process. So the equity assessment is step 2. After we decide leasing versus buying, that's step 1. That's the most important question. Foundation of your car deal is, did I lease when I should have leased? Did I buy when I should have bought? Once you pass that, now if you have a car to replace, you need to do an equity assessment to see, do I have equity? Am I at a break even, which means I can get out? I'm not going to make any money, but that's fine. I can get out. Some people got a lease. I could get out the lease early. You technically can't do that because you're breaking a contract, but if you can sell out and break even, then you can get out early. Or do I have a negative position in which case I can't get out early? In the case of a negative, if you have a negative position on a lease, you can't get out early without penalty, without those payments. But if you're a negative equity on a finance, then that's different. There's no negative equity in a lease. I know we kind of use these terms interchangeably. Negative equity is only with a finance because you have to pay the money. With a lease, if what I get offers for, if it's below my payoff, then I just stay in the car until the end. I don't have negative equity. So you do the equity assessment, and hopefully you can break even. And the good thing about Toyota, if they haven't changed it, and I remember right, they don't have a third-party restriction. So you should be able to, if those offers you get are what you owe or higher, then you should be able to sell that car right to CarMax or Driveway or AutoNation, whoever makes you the highest offer, and you can be out of it literally. You do that today, you could be out of that car tomorrow. All right, so keep me posted. Go ahead. Shoot it. See, we're over an hour. And I know Dolan, we always try to keep the shows an hour, but it's like the questions start rolling in and it gets good. Go ahead. Shoot another one up, Dolan. We'll wrap in a second. Facebook. When you go online to build and decide on needs and wants, you look at the cash price, not the lease price. We don't look at any price online. Pay no attention. Nothing online is a deal, y'all. No commercial. I don't care what you see. Deals are like this. Hey, look, this is their offer. Look, this is what we gotta. Can we do it? What? Can you get them up any? Like, will they come up any at all? Nah, man. They said that they made this, and it's like, shoot. All right, let's see if you get another. Can you get another $10? If you get another $10 a month out of them, just take it. If not, then do the deal. That's a deal. You don't repeat it. You don't. I used to have to tell certain people, when you got a real deal, hey, when you come back, I'd love for you to send me friends, family, but don't tell them what you're paying, because I probably can't duplicate that, honestly. That's a deal. The whole opposite is what they advertise to you. Deals are not advertised. Deals are when the dealer makes little to no money. Little to no money. That's a below market deal. If they're putting something on a commercial, that means the dealer doesn't mind if 80 people come in and get that offer this month. You have the money down? Yeah, I want to pay the $460 a month. Okay. You have the money down? Yeah, it was $3,400, right? Okay. What about the taxes and fees? Because that's small print. All right, how much is that? That'll put you probably about another $3,200. And then I could be at that payment from the commercial? Yeah, definitely. Okay, let's do it. That's not a deal. That's not nothing special. We didn't mind making that. Come on, if that's what you want. So if you want deals, you got to understand. Don't look at commercials. Don't look on the internet. Oh, this deal is advertising this. Deals are not advertised. Let that set. All this marketing that has worked on, come at the end of the month. Imagine being in a business where your customers were trained to come at the end of the month. Imagine if you had a pizza shop, a car wash, and that happened. You knew that the industry was so good at marketing that you knew the last 3 days of the month, your car wash is going to have lines around the corner. That's marketing. So dealers make deals when they're like desperate. I want to see. Nobody's here. So don't pay attention. Don't pay attention to that. Just follow the process. Oh, I see you got the book. Just follow the process. If it's not written in there, Ty, don't add to it. Don't add to it. If Deshone didn't say, go to this website and look and then write that down, don't do it. The whole purpose of why I wrote that book in that way is to take the guesswork out of it. If you find yourself like, okay, what should I do here? All right, I'm going to do this. You're probably off my path, because my path is very rigid. It's like a McDonald's system. You hear that beep, the nuggets are ready. Oh, don't change it. And then you'll get the results. We call that trust in the process. Great question. All right, y'all. We just hit an hour and 10 minutes. Y'all, I would love to do this all day. We are going to continue to do these broadcasts. Once the questions start coming in, I don't want to discount any questions. So I wish some questions I could just answer in 30 seconds. It's not possible without me just cutting it short and then you not getting the value out of it. So we try to get through as many as possible. For everyone who wants everything I teach in one place, you can get everything in my social media videos. But I think what you understand now from being on the broadcast is there's lots of different situations. So when you're moving through my social media video, you're saying, oh, he's talking about leasing here. He's talking about buying a used car here. He's talking about banks here. He's talking about high mileage here. All right, that means I got to try to piece this together myself. Same thing with the broadcast here. If you're like Deshone, I want everything in one spot, step by step. It's all in there. Leasing's in there. The high mileage paths are in there. The new car purchase paths are in there. Used car purchase paths are in there. And step 7 of my book is delivery. So you shouldn't be thinking, oh, I'm gonna read the whole book, then I'll start shopping. No, it's action guides. It's essentially a big checklist. Do this, do this. By the time you get to step 7, you should be picking up your car, getting ready to have it delivered. So that's the way it is. You don't take a quiz at the end. The quiz is, if you did it right, your car's on the way. So everyone can get your book for 75% off as part of our launch. It's in my TikTok bio. Grab yours, use it, and please make sure you email me your deal. As soon as you make your deal, send me an email. Deshone, check this out. I don't want to see just the car you got. I want to see the price you paid. You're going to have price assurance, and I'm happy to be on this journey with you. So get it in here. I'm going to send this link. I'm going to type the link one more time for you guys here on Facebook and YouTube. In case you missed the countdown, I just typed the link. You can grab it there. TikTok, Instagram, it's in my bio. Click that website and then click that button that says 75% off. So until then, thank you, Ty. Great questions today. Great questions. All the questions were good. And I'll see y'all on the next broadcast. We'll keep this going. God bless y'all.